World-defying Dan God Chapter 4841, Immortal Qingshan. The Mirror of Six Paths also responded very quickly. After Sister Xiaojing noticed something was wrong, she immediately increased the power of the Mirror of Six Paths and suppressed the blasting air wave back. Chen Shang and the sages who created Tao are very concerned about the light that spewed out from the stars. It seems that something suddenly ran out from the inside of the stars. What is that? Chen Shang wanted to chase after him, but he couldn't leave here. I don't know. At present, it doesn't seem to affect us. The Taoist sage shook his head and said solemnly, no matter what it is, it looks very dangerous, and it is definitely not easy to run out of it. Could it be that this ancestral source of creation gave birth to some creature? I sensed something was wrong, so it flew out. Chen Shang was more worried. If this thing is very strong, and it wanders in the world-defying universe, that must be dangerous. Just when Chen Shang was talking with the sages who created Taoism, the thing that was shot from the shock of the stars just flew towards them. Come here, are you going to attack us? Chen Shang exclaimed. Senior, be careful. I know. The Taoist sages were also ready to fight. What flew over was a group of light, coming with an extremely strong coercion, with an extremely terrifying aura of power. Chen Shang and the Tao-creating sages are now facing a formidable enemy. They had encountered a powerhouse of this level not long ago. The youngest ancestral source they had looked for before, and the ancestral source who ran out of it, had about the same strength. Is this also a Zuyuan person? Chen Shang shouted in surprise, and at the same time secretly communicated with little sister Xiaojing, so that she was ready to start fighting with Zuyuan people. That light group quickly flew in front of Chen Shang and the others, and then exploded. At the same time as a burst of strong light flashed, Chen Shang and the Taoist sages immediately defended, and the Six Paths Divine Mirror also condensed a very strong force. Fortunately, the strong light from the flash is not harmful, but the light is very dazzling. After the light group exploded, a young man appeared inside. He was wearing blue clothes. His handsome and fair face was very cold. His bright eyes looked at Chen Shang with a hint of surprise, and then he looked at the 6 magic mirrors on your head. Who are you? The young man asked. We are the world-defying people. Who are you? Chen Shang asked. I'm an immortal cultivator. The young man said, my name is Wang Qingshan, have you heard of me? You just said, what kind of world-defying universe is this, and where is this? Chen Shang and the Taoist sages heard this after talking. They were all surprised, and then looked at each other. They all knew about cultivating immortals, and they had come into contact with cultivating immortals at a very early stage on the path of Chen Zhang's growth and cultivation. But later, as his cultivation continued to improve, cultivating immortals also became a very elementary way of cultivation, which was completely unsuitable for him. Ying Kuang also told him before that there is a very mysterious force in Yishan that is fighting against the force of Yishan, that is, this group of mysterious cultivators. Chen Shang was very puzzled, why an immortal cultivator flew out from the inside of the huge ancestral source of creation. You are from another heaven? Chen Shang asked. That's right. Isn't this Yishan? Impossible. This obviously has the same creation power as Yishan, and the space is also very revealing. After Wang Qingshan finished speaking, he looked at the huge star and said, the ancestor of the world. Yuan, by the way, I was sealed inside an ancestral source of creation. Because this thing suddenly weakened just now, so I can break through. Wang Qingshan looked again, and then closed his eyes to sense something. After he opened his eyes, he looked at the huge six-path divine mirror and the Suzaku tenderness which turned into a giant tube. What the **** is going on here? Could it be that Yishan has become the past? How long have I been sealed? Wang Qingshan was suddenly confused, realizing that he might have been sealed for many years. This is the world-defying universe. Of course it's not Yishan, this is a long story. Chen Shang also knew that the immortal cultivator Wang Qingshan in front of him was not malicious, and he talked about many things carefully. Wang Qingshan was very powerful, and he was an immortal cultivator. Chen Shang and the Taoist sages were very interested in this. Chen Shang also knew little about Yishan, he just told him about Ying Kuang, and then said it roughly, and finally talked about the situation of world-defying universe. After listening to Wang Qingshan, he was greatly shocked and sighed. I never thought that besides Yishan, there is such a universe that has independent consciousness and can grow independently. It can also grow to such a powerful level. Wanzhou Mountain is more powerful than the world-defying universe. Chen Shang believes that Wanzhou Mountain is much stronger than the world-defying universe. Wanzhou Mountain. This thing is still there. All the cultivation methods of Wanzhou Mountain come from Yishan. In essence, Wanzhou Mountain and Yishan are still closely related. Wang Qingshan said. But what kind of world-defying universe has kept a distance from Yishan? It's hard to say. What kind of xie domain, and this ancestral source of creation, no matter how you look at it, you are going to eat the world-defying universe. Chen Shang sighed. Xie Ziayu, what is this? Wang Qingshan frowned. Chen Shang also talked about the transformation of the demon soul star region into the evil star region. Master of Guiyuan, this guy is still alive. That's great. Where is the demon soul star territory? I'll take a look. Wang Qingshan suddenly looked angry, obviously having a deep hatred with the Lord of Guiyuan. Chen Shang talked about the direction, and then gave Wang Qingshan a communication talisman. He had to warn him a few words, but Wang Qingshan made a space jump and disappeared. This guy, so strong. Chen Shang exclaimed. I hope he will be fine. He doesn't even know Xie Ziayu, he should be a very old guy. The Taoist sage shook his head and sighed. He just came out of the seal, and he must be a little behind in all aspects. He encountered a guy like the Lord of Ghost Abyss. Most of them are more fortunate and less fortunate. Chen Shang felt the same way, and then sent a message through the communication talisman, telling Wang Qingshan to be careful of the Lord of Guiyuan. After Wang Qingshan received it, he simply replied, I know. The sages of Taoism and Chen Shang were worried that this ancestral source of creation would run out of a terrible guy, but fortunately it was just a false alarm. The huge head inside the ancestral source of creation has been swallowed up by the Six Paths Divine Mirror, and only one huge head is left, which was directly transferred by the Six Paths Divine Mirror by space shifting. As before, there is also a very large alien Tao seed, which is much bigger than what I got before. That head should be of great use, after all, it's so big. Chen Shang looked at the human head inside the divine mirror of six paths, which was much bigger than many giant mountains. Xiao Shen, the ancestral source of creation has been hollowed out. Now it should be a period of weakness, you say, can you make the ancestral source of creation become a world-defying universe? No longer dominated by Yishan. The sages of Taoism came up with a whim, said. World-defying Dan God Chapter 4842, Proud Ancestors. Chen Shang still hasn't figured out the structure of the ancestral source of creation, and he also only knew not long ago that the ancestral source of creation has a mother source. What's more, there is a powerful destiny within the ancestral source of creation, which can be transformed into a form, and this destiny is born based on the alien Tao species. The Taoist sage proposed to turn the ancestral origin of the world into the world-defying universe. It sounds very good, but Chen Shang doesn't know how to do it. It shouldn't be possible to turn the ancestral source of creation into the world-defying universe, right? I just said it casually. Said the sage of creation. I feel like there's still drama. Chen Shang said suddenly. First of all, we must cut off the connection between the ancestral source of creation and Yishan. The main reason is to prevent the ancestral source of creation from being controlled by Yishan again. If the connection is cut off, the ancestral source of creation will not be able to obtain energy from Yishan, so what is the use of the ancestral source of creation? The Taoist sage shook his head and said, the greatest role of the ancestral source of creation is to it can transmit the power of creation from other heavens. Senior, the power of creation is not necessarily from Yishan. Chen Shang said with a smile, perhaps, the power of creation in Yishan is also provided by the ancestor of the world. It's just that the ancestor of the creation was controlled by Yishan. Maybe, Yishan also controlled the alien ancestral source of creation at the beginning, so it made Yishan become very powerful. That's right, it's very possible. The Taoist sages brightened their eyes and said, if this is the case, then cut off the connection between the ancestral source and the alien world, and the ancestral source of creation can still absorb the power of creation from the mother source, and then send it to the world-defying universe. That's right, I guess that the method for Yishan to control the ancestral origin of the world should be through the ancestral seed of the world. Chen Shang said. So, if we want to control these ancestral origins of creation, we need the arrogant Tao seed. Quote. How do we do it? The Tao of the world-defying universe is quite mysterious. Although it can be cultivated, the Tao that we have cultivated is too small to fill the ancestral source of creation. It's so good. If it's the Tao we cultivate, it doesn't match the ancestral source of creation at all. Chen Shang thought about it and said, but I still have a way to try it out. The alien Tao seed should be snatched from many human beings or living beings, so it is possible to condense a huge alien Tao seed. This alien Tao seed itself is not healthy, so the lifestyle cultivated by the ancestral source of creation is very bad. Stable, Chen Shang guessed. Then how can we get the huge world-defying Taoist seed? The Taoist sage looked at Chen Shang. Chen Shang has 3 directions to try. One is to find Shen Yuanxin, she is the universe Yuanxin of the world-defying universe after all. The second is to find Grandma Linglong, the new great soul of the universe. The third is to use the powerful star field to control the operation of the star field by relying on the 6-path mirror, and use the star field to breed the world-class Tao seed. Shen Yuanxin is practicing in seclusion, Chen Shang can't go to her now, and then he will contact Grandma Linglong. Grandma Linglong, do you have a way to cultivate a powerful Tao seed? You cultivated it through the Aoshi universe. I need to put it into the ancestral source of creation, so that the ancestral source of creation and the universe of the world can be integrated, and let the universe of the world control the creation of the world. The origin of the ancestors. Chen Shang simply said the request. Well, it can be possible, but I can't do it by myself. I'm just a big life soul, and my control over the world-defying universe is very limited. And as the world-defying universe is rapidly becoming stronger, my control over the world-defying universe is very limited. It's getting more and more powerless. Grandma Linglong sighed. She said before that there are several huge alien universes like Wanzhou Mountain, which are secretly enhancing the world-defying universe, so that they can have a place after entering the world-defying universe. In fact, even Wanzhou Mountain is secretly enhancing the world-defying universe, mainly to fatten the world-defining universe, and then swallow it. At present, the strength of world-defying universe is still very weak, and no one takes world-defying universe in their eyes. Even if Wan Zhoushan knows that Chen Shang is very strong, in their eyes, Chen Shang is still not worth mentioning, and he is only a small role. Grandma Linglong, so you need my participation, right? Chen Shang asked. Yes, the world-defying Taoist requires a large amount of world-defying cosmic energy. It needs to be combined with the 6 paths cultivation law and the fate cultivation law to cultivate it. Otherwise, it is not a pure world-proud Taoist. Grandma Linglong said. In that case, it needs to be cultivated within the star territory. Chen Shang had thought of this method before. That's right, you need to pass through a star field, and even sacrifice a star field. Grandma Linglong's voice entered Chen Zhang's mind, and said, it may not be necessary to destroy a star field, but through the star field to breed the world-defeating Taoist species, will lead to the loss of energy in a star field. Chen Shang thought about going through the Tianquan star region before, but now he can only find other star regions. Fortunately, there are many star fields in the world-defining universe now, all of which can be used to breed the world-class Tao species. I'm in a star field right now, right here, Chen Shang asked. Of course, let's start now. By the way, we also need the cooperation of the 6 paths divine mirror. Because the 6 paths fate soul is within the 6 paths divine mirror. Grandma Linglong said. Chen Shang and Sister Xiaojing discussed it for a while, and then they started, needing the 6 paths divine mirror to become bigger, and then absorb the energy that condenses the entire star territory. After that, there is nothing to do with Chen Shang, it is Sister Xiaojing and Grandma Linglong discussing and cooperating. Chen Shang took out the world-defying divine stove now. There are many huge spaces inside the world-defying divine furnace, storing many things. Chen Shang is now looking at that huge head. Although there is only one skull left, he can construct the face of this skull in his mind through the skull. In fact, he didn't see the entire head's appearance clearly before, so he began to use the Suzaku tenderness to extract the energy of the head. Now, after looking at it carefully, and reconstructing the face of the head through the skull in his mind, he found that this human head is exactly the same as the previous immortal cultivator Wang Qingshan. This head is the fate of the giant ancestral source, and it actually grew out of Wang Qingshan's appearance. This made Chen Shang feel incredible. If he continued to grow, would he grow a giant Wang Qingshan? This fate has gone the wrong way. It is obviously a human transformation, but it has to become so big, but if you don't transform into such a giant, it will not be so easy to break the seal and come out. Chen Shang looked at the head and felt that he was in trouble. I don't know how to make good use of this head. The Taoist sage was resting next to him, and when he saw the 6 paths divine mirror getting bigger, he knew that Chen Shang had begun to create the world-defining Taoist. Chen Shang and the Taoist sages talked about the head. Xiao Shen, you don't know how to use this head, do you? Asked the Taoist sage. Yes, Chen Shang nodded and said. That thing is too big, although it is very strong, but it always feels useless. It must be useful. The Taoist sage smiled and said, do you want me to give you some advice? World Defying Dan God Chapter 4843, Heavenly Refinement Tao. Tell me about it. Chen Shang only felt that the skull was too big, what he thought was to melt the skull as a material or something. The integrity of the skull is very good, and it is very strong. You must know that this thing is inside a huge sun, can withstand high temperatures, and is cultivated under a lot of pressure. Said the Taoist sage. It's so good, and it's still the fate of an ancestral origin. Although the energy has been absorbed, this skull is indeed very strong. Chen Shang nodded. Since the integrity is very good, then you can refine the artifact specially designed to trap people. Said the Taoist sages. For example, when fighting, just put this big skull out and open your mouth to ***** people in. That's right. Chen Shang thought for a while, and then told his sister Xiaojing the idea, and asked her to make the skull into an artifact. This is not difficult for Xiaojing's sister, and she is very good at it. Sister Xiaojing is teaming up with Grandma Linglong to create the world-defining Taoist seed. Chen Shang and the Taoist sages can feel it at this moment. In this giant star field where they are located, all the energy is rapidly draining, and they are entering the 6 Taoist mirrors. Brother, then you need to use the world-defying divine furnace to complete the final step. Sister Xiaojing suddenly sent a voice transmission to Chen Shang. World-defying divine furnace. Chen Shang was a little surprised because Grandma Linglong didn't tell him about this before. He controls the world-defying divine furnace to gradually become larger, and when it is large enough, the 6 paths divine mirror will inject a turbid energy into the world-defying divine furnace. Little master, the last step is very important, it's up to you. Grandma Linglong said. I thought it would be possible to join hands with the mirror girl, but it is much more difficult than I thought to create a world-defining Taoist. How am I going to practice? Chen Shang looked bewildered. You practice alchemy the way you usually do. Grandma Linglong was also a little embarrassed, because she didn't know either. Okay, I'll give it a try. Chen Shang closed his eyes, concentrated on controlling the world-defying divine furnace, and then operated the heaven alchemy technique. The divine mirror of 6 paths is constantly injecting energy into the divine furnace of world-defying, and the energy that Chen Shang has to control now is very powerful, which makes him very difficult. He used all the power of his soul to make the energy inside the world-defying divine furnace work. Chen Zhang's mastery of the technique of celestial refining has reached a state of perfection. As long as his soul is strong enough and the divine consciousness released can suppress that energy, he can refine it little by little. Need purification, these energies are still too turbid. Chen Shang is now using the method of alchemy to refine. He also remembered at this time that the alien Tao seeds obtained from the 2 creation ancestral sources were all in a crystalline state, and they might have been refined in a similar way. If it is alchemy, it is what Chen Shang is best at. He is now very confident that he can make a good world-defying Taoist. At this time, the movement of this star field is very large, especially the world-defying divine furnace and the 6-path divine mirror. After they become very large, they interact with each other, and the various visions produced are extremely shocking. The movement is big, which also means that it is very dangerous, and it can be detected outside the star field, but now there is no way, because they never thought it would be like this. The Tao-creating sages are also patrolling outside, but this star field is too large. If someone approaches, it is difficult to detect with his strength. Chen Shang is now sitting cross-legged, suspended in the void of the universe, and in front of him is a huge mountain-like divine furnace. Above the world-defying divine furnace, the 6-path divine mirror that covered the sky and the sun was slowly spinning, and a beam of light fell from the center, sending the energy into the world-defying divine furnace and handing it over to Chen Shang to refine it. Chen Shang doesn't know how long it will take now, because the energy injected into the divine mirror of 6 paths has not decreased, but it has become more and more, and he can't see his head at all. Once you start, it's hard to stop. After he went on like this for 8 days, the Taoist sage suddenly rushed over and said to Chen Shang, "Xiao Shen, there is a situation. I can't stop now." Chen Zhang's expression changed, and he quickly asked, "Senior, what's the situation?" "Wang Qingshan is back, he is seriously injured and is fighting with a group of guys." The Taoist sages were very anxious. "I saw him just now, and I sent a voice transmission to him, telling him that there is a very important retreat here, and he has not flown for the time being. Come here, he seems to be looking for the ancestral source of creation. What is he fighting? Chen Xiang was most worried about this, because Wang Qingshan ran into the Demon Soul Star field before. The Demon Soul Star territory has become an evil star territory. The Lord of Guiyuan can travel to the Demon Soul Star territory from Yishan. He was sealed by Shen Yuanxin before, and the Lord of Guiyuan could not come out. I don't know what Wang Qingshan has experienced inside, but he will be seriously injured. You must know that Wang Qingshan's strength is very strong. That kind of thing looks like a half-human, half-beast thing. In short, it is very strong. There are more than a dozen, and each of them is far stronger than me. They all have a very strange purple long sword in their hands, with a purple ghost head at the end of the hilt. Sure enough, it's the guy from Guiyuan. Chen Xiang said solemnly. I don't think I can get away. You tell Wang Qingshan to stay away from me as much as possible. I'll try my best to be Xiao Shen, you have to hurry up here. If it's too late, be prepared to resist. The Taoist sage urged. I see, senior, you have to be careful yourself. Chen Xiang also urged the sages who created the Tao. The Taoist sages left immediately. At this time, little sister Xiaojing sent a voice transmission to Chen Xiang and said, Brother, I should be able to block it by then, and you still have vermilion bird tenderness in your hand. Isn't this Wang Qingshan a very powerful immortal cultivator? How could he be chased and beaten? And he came here. Sister Xiaojing is also very speechless about this. If they go to other places, it will not make them so nervous. Wang Qingshan has been sealed for so many years, he has just come out, and his power over Guiyuan is still at that time, so he will naturally suffer. Chen Xiang said. This guy's strength is very strong, but Guiyuan should be guarding against that for many years. A group of cultivators, so there are also related restraint methods. Brother, Grandma Linglong said that there are some powerful aliens like Wanzhou Mountain, and some people have entered the world-defying universe one after another. Sister Xiaojing said, the world-defying universe will become more and more chaotic. It's only temporary. When we become stronger, no matter who it is, as long as they make trouble in the world-defying universe, I will make them pay a painful price. Chen Xiang clenched his fists. At this moment, the Taoist sages rushed over again. Xiao Shen, Wang Qingshan can't stop it, he ran over. Shouted the Taoist sage. At this time, a azure light swept over. Wang Qingshan only had one arm left, and most of the flesh was bitten off from his side waist, which looked very miserable. Wang Qingshan also saw the great movement made by Chen Xiang here. While shocked, he also shouted, Run! World-Defying Dan God Chapter 4844, Ghost Abyss Orc. Chen Xiang can't run now. The Divine Mirror of Six Paths and the Divine World-Defying Furnace have become very large, and they are both running, he can't put them away in an instant. What's more, at this time, he is still refining the audacious Tao seed, so he can't run away, because if it is suddenly interrupted, it will be wasted, and maybe it will be taken over by the enemy. Chen Xiang immediately released the vermilion bird tenderness silk out, and a thin vermilion bird tenderness silk suddenly grew many threads, which turned into a large net to cover the past, and netted the group of ghost abyss orcs rushing over. It has to be said that after the Suzaku tenderness silk is integrated into the mother body of the scourge worm, the silk thread released is very tough, plus the various materials that have been refined before, it is not easy to break it in a short time. The Divine Mirror of Six Paths also absorbs the energy of this star field, and then injects it into the Suzaku tenderness silk, which can make the Suzaku tenderness silk continue to grow tough silk threads, and net the group of ghost abyss orcs. Wang Qingshan was chased and killed by dozens of Guiyuan orcs just now. It can be said that he was extremely embarrassed. With such strength, it was the first time that Guiyuan orcs had forced him to this level. He originally wanted to continue to escape. After all, he was also afraid of death. But after seeing Chen Xiang netting the group of ghost abyss orcs, he hesitated for a moment and then rushed over. After Wang Qingshan flew over, he didn't know what method he used. He was just chanting a spell, and then suddenly there was lightning and thunder, smashing down one after another of golden and white furious thunder. The thunder roared and fell with a mighty righteousness that seemed to destroy the world. The Guiyuan orcs were beaten and roared wildly, and some Guiyuan orcs were even cracked by lightning. Chen Xiang was also surprised. He didn't expect that this scarred immortal cultivator would be able to burst out such a powerful killing move. The most terrifying thing is that the group of ghost abyss orcs were bombarded by such a violent thunder, and they did not completely die. Wang Qingshan's expression was stern, and he suddenly shouted loudly, only to see his heart flashing with blue light, and a blue electric light flashed out. It was a blue flying sword. This cyan flying sword entered the group of Guiyuan beasts in an instant, slashing quickly, only to see cyan arcs flashing rapidly. Dozens of Guiyuan orcs were chopped up like melons and vegetables. Fragmented. After Wang Qingshan took back his original flying sword, his face became pale, but he still did not stop attacking. He used the flying sword to draw a blood mark on his arm, and a lot of blood poured out. After the blood poured out, it was controlled by Wang Qingshan and suspended in the air. Wang Qingshan held a flying sword in his hand and drew a spell in the void with his own blood using the flying sword as a pen. The ghost abyss orcs caught in the net have long since turned into fragments, but the fragments are piecing together and merging with each other, and they are being reorganized. The talisman was instantly formed, burning flames, and rushing towards the group of Guiyuan orcs. Call. The Guiyuan orcs could not escape in the net, they were hit by the flame spell, and then a golden-white flame ignited. Wang Qingshan still hadn't stopped, and continued to chant the incantation in his mouth, and another golden-white rage thundered down. After a while, the Guiyuan orcs turned into ashes, and Chen Shang hurriedly took back the vermilion bird tenderness. Strange to say, Suzaku tenderness has not suffered any damage. Wang Qingshan was already very tired, plus he was seriously injured. He glanced at Chen Shang, then closed his eyes, and passed out. The sages who created the Tao hurried over to take care of Wang Qingshan. This guy is so strong. Sister Xiaojing exclaimed. We don't need to take action at all. He mainly faces too many agile Guiyuan orcs, and he doesn't have a very good means to restrain the scattered Guiyuan orcs, so he can only be beaten. Chen Shang said. After Chen Shang caught the Guiyuan orcs, Wang Qingshan also seized the opportunity to fight back and killed a large number of Guiyuan orcs. The Taoist sages carried Wang Qingshan over in the past, put them beside Chen Shang, and then helped Wang Qingshan to heal. Wang Qingshan only fainted for a while, and immediately woke up after recovering the evil spirit. Little guy, what are you doing? After Wang Qingshan woke up, he floated cross-legged and looked at Chen Zhang's huge divine furnace. I'm refining the Tao seed that belongs to the world-defining universe. After refining the world-defining Taoist ancestor, I put it into the ancestral source of creation, and turn the ancestral source of creation into the universe of arrogance. Chen Shang did not hide it. You are robbing the ancestral source of creation. Wang Qingshan frowned and shook his head. If Yishan finds out, they will be furious. They brought the ancestral origin of creation to my proud universe, and brought a lot of confusion. They brought it on by themselves. Chen Shang didn't care about that much. There are a total of 100,000 ancestral sources of creation, and this number is fixed. The old ancestral sources of creation will also have a lifespan, and they will be reborn in the mother source pool after the end of their lifespan. Wang Qingshan said, the ancestral source of creation after rebirth, there will be many super powerful guys to compete. Could it be that the ancestral origins of the world-defying universe all have masters? Chen Shang asked. Not bad, Wang Qingshan said. And what you are doing now is equivalent to taking the ancestral source of creation as your own. That's great. As long as there is a clear owner, it will be very easy to handle. I really hope that these masters of the ancestral source of creation can find me. Chen Shang said with a smile, he is not afraid at all now. So, they brought the ancestral source of creation to the world-defying universe, and they want to parasitize the universe of the world. Said the Taoist sage. There is a destiny in the ancestral source of creation, and what can that destiny be turned into? I don't know. In short, they put the ancestral source of creation in this universe, they must be uneasy and kind. Wang Qingshan said, since you are not afraid, then you can do whatever you want. You are not strong, but the things in your hands are really not easy. Wang Qingshan thought that if he had the tenderness of the vermilion bird and could catch the group of ghosts and beasts, he would not be beaten so badly. Senior Qingshan, have you gone to the Demon Soul Star region? Chen Shang asked. Go in, the guy from the Lord of Ghost Abyss is really inside. Wang Qingshan sighed. As soon as I entered, he immediately found me, and sent that group of things to chase and kill me. How is the strength of the Lord of Guiyuan? Chen Shang asked. It's very strong. I'm not his opponent now. Wang Qingshan sighed again. In the past, he was far behind me in strength. Can he leave the Demon Soul Star region? Chen Shang asked. Not yet. The Demon Soul Star territory has been sealed by the power of this universe. He has not yet found a way to break the seal, but he will be able to break the seal sooner or later. Wang Qingshan said, as long as he breaks the seal, this universe will fall. I will never allow this kind of thing to happen. Chen Shang snorted. What a bastard, the Lord of Ghost Abyss, don't even think about messing around in the world-defying universe. Not only the Lord of Guiyuan, but Wanzhou Mountain also put a lot of pressure on Chen Shang. World-defying Dan God Chapter 4845, Battleground. Once the Demon Soul Starfield is broken open, a large number of Guiyuan beasts and Guiyuan orcs will run out. At that time, the starfields where people in the world-defining universe are gathered will be destroyed. Moreover, the Lord of Guiyuan will definitely turn all the star domains of the world-defying universe into the evil star domain, which will be used to cultivate Guiyuan beasts and Guiyuan orcs. The star territory where the World-Proud Temple and the 100 Flowers Temple were located in the past almost became the evil star territory. Fortunately, Chen Shang responded in a timely manner, so he did not become the celestial evil territory. Even so, it is now sealed, and I don't know what happened inside. Sample. The seal of the Demon Soul Star territory has been loosened a bit, said the Taoist sages. Otherwise, there would not be so many ghostly orcs running out. It's really loosened a lot, but the Lord of Guiyuan can't come out for the time being. Wang Qingshan said, because he is too strong, the law of power of the world-defying universe does not allow such a powerful life form to enter, so he wants to pass through. It is very difficult to enter the world-defining universe from space. So that's the case. So, it's very difficult for ghost beasts and ghost abyss orcs to come to defeat the world. Chen Shang asked. Indeed, the Guiyuan orcs who were chasing me were relatively weak. But when they followed me out, they were also impacted by the power of the world-defying universe, and some of their power was lost because of this. Wang Qingshan said. Part of the power is directly lost. Is the law of the world-defying universe so powerful? Chen Shang thought that it was only limited, but he didn't expect it to be lost directly. Otherwise, the Lord of Guiyuan has come over long ago. No matter how strong the Lord of Guiyuan is, he can't fight against the power of the laws of the universe. If it causes the loss of power in his body, it will be equivalent to a retrograde in cultivation, and it will take a long time to recover. Wang Qingshan said. There is also a powerful Patronus on Wanzhou Mountain, but that Patronus has never come to defeat the universe, indicating that there are concerns in this regard. In this way, whether it is Yishan or the Lord of Guiyuan, there is no way to send a guy who is too strong, so we don't have to worry about anything for the time being. Said the Taoist sage. It's not like this. If the universe continues to grow, then the power of the law will become less and less restrictive to them. Wang Qingshan said, the power of the law in this universe must be dead, but it follows certain rules. Regular operation. If the universe grows rapidly, this kind of law restriction will gradually disappear. World-defying universe is now growing rapidly, this is not good news for Chen Shang. Senior, your Yishan cultivators should have good overall strength, right? Chen Shang asked. They also have to fight against those brutal forces in Yishan, how about calling them all over? I've been sealed for many years, and maybe no one knows me. Wang Qingshan shook his head and smiled bitterly, how can I say? In fact, I am among the immortal cultivators, and my appeal is very weak. In the past, tens of millions in the past few years, I didn't even know the situation of the immortal cultivators in the heavens. Wang Qingshan has been sealed for tens of millions of years. After Chen Shang and the Taoist sages heard about it, they also knew that Wang Qingshan definitely had little prestige among immortal cultivators, unless he had very strong strength, he could regain his prestige. Little guy, keep fiddling with this Taoist species. Wang Qingshan said, if you succeed, this universe will cause more trouble. However, this strange universe is very easy to be missed, trouble. It's nothing more than that. Senior, you are watching the fun and not afraid of big things, right? Chen Shang pouted. To be honest, I really hope you can succeed. Once you successfully swallow this ancestral source of creation, then I can see the reaction of Yishan, and maybe I can force the 4 Yishan emperors to appear. Body. Wang Qingshan laughed suddenly, and said, we were a group of immortal cultivators back then, we wished that all these heavenly emperor venerables would show up, but in the end they didn't succeed. Emperor Yishan, Chen Shang frowned and said, is it the 5 emperors of the 3 patriarchs and 5 emperors? Yes, there are only 4 of the 3 ancestors and 5 emperors left. They are now self-proclaimed emperors of Yishan. Wang Qingshan said, the Lord of Guiyuan is likely to become the 5th emperor, because the 3 ancestors do not allow Yishan to lack one person for a long time. Emperor. The Emperor of Yishan is the foundation of Yishan, and the ancestral position of Yishan is the foundation of heaven. The Lord of Guiyuan is actually fighting for the throne. Chen Shang sighed, which was similar to what Ying Kuang had guessed before. There are many people competing for the throne. At present, it seems that this world-defying universe is very likely to be the key to the struggle for the throne. Wang Qingshan frowned. How do you say this? Asked the Taoist sage. Because the world-defying universe has great potential. It is different from the universe like Wanzhou Mountain. Wanzhou Mountain and other alien universes, although far larger than the world-defining universe, are countless times larger, but those universes are based on other heavens. It is already a part of Yishan. Wang Qingshan said. It's all a part of Yishan. Chen Shang was surprised. But, I always feel that there are other Yishan universes that are sending energy to the world-defying universe. You also said that other alien universes, the reason why they are called alien universes is because they have a very close connection with alien universes. Wang Qingshan laughed and said, Aoshi universe looks like alien universes, and there are a lot of them. The ancestral origin of the creation of the world, but the proud universe is still independent at present. You don't feel wrong, there is indeed a different universe that is sending energy to the world-defying universe. It's mainly those universes that want to get rid of the control of the world with the help of the world-defying universe. Wang Qingshan nodded. Chen Shang didn't expect that the world-defying universe would be so crucial. He thought that Shen Yuanxin created the double universe space, so that the world-defying universe was not completely infiltrated by Yishan. The feature of being completely infiltrated by Yishan is that there is a parasite of the ancestral source of creation in the Universe Heart Palace, such as the Universe Heart Palace of Wanzhou Mountain. The master of the universe is with the ancestor source of creation all day long. Those huge alien universes are all owned by 4 emperors. If the Lord of Guiyuan also masters such a universe, he can rely on this universe to strengthen himself and create his own powerful emperors. Wang Qingshan said again. Guiyuan ferocious beasts, Guiyuan orcs, Guiyuan evil god, Xie realm, are all created by the Lord of Guiyuan. Chen Shang said. So, your enemy is not only the Lord of Guiyuan, but also other universes. Wang Qingshan clearly saw something. Chen Shang had a very close relationship with this world-defying universe, and he was determined to maintain the world-defending universe. I know. Chen Shang nodded, then looked at the world-defying divine furnace, and said, if the world-defying universe wants to become stronger, it needs to have the ancestral origin that belongs to the world-defying universe. Chapter 48, World-Defying Dan God Chapter 4846, Big Collision. I will find a way to contact the cultivators in Yishan and see what they are doing now. I hope they can still resist the brutal forces of Yishan unswervingly. Wang Qingshan said. Young man, you can continue with yours, it's going to be healed. Wang Qingshan was seriously injured just now, but in the end he was still able to kill the group of Ghost Abyss orcs. It can be seen that his strength is still very strong, but he needs someone to cooperate to fight against the hordes of powerful enemies. Chen Shang continued to refine the world-defeating Dao Seed. The group of Guiyuan orcs were killed just now. Although the crisis was temporarily lifted, it did not mean that there was no crisis. He has to complete this matter quickly. If Guiyuan learns that the Guiyuan orcs have been annihilated, they will definitely continue to pursue them. Wang Qingshan looked at the huge world-defying divine furnace and was also thoughtful. He recalled that Chen Shang had caught the group of ghostly orcs just now, and he also knew that Chen Shang had a very powerful ability. Although his own cultivation was not high, he definitely a Megatron character. He suddenly felt that the reason why the world-defying universe has become a must-have place is most likely because the growth path is different. And affecting the growth of a universe is generally closely related to the controller of the universe. Although the alien universe like Wanzhou Mountain is huge, the controller is very dependent on the alien universe, so it becomes a part of the alien universe. If you don't rely on Yishan, Wanzhou Mountain can't grow to be so huge, so Wang Qingshan thinks that Chen Shang has secretly contributed to the existence of the world-defying universe. Especially robbing the ancestral source of creation is not because other universes don't want to do it, but because they can't do it at all. If Chen Shang can do it, it is equivalent to setting a precedent. Although there will be great risks, if he succeeds, then the world-defying universe will become stronger faster because of this. The Taoist sage interrupted Wang Qingshan's meditation and asked, Senior Qingshan, do you know anything about other universes? I don't understand. I've only heard the name, but I haven't understood it in depth. Wang Qingshan shook his head and said, Wanzhou Mountain is one, and there are also 3,000 realms, Sumerian, and Samsara Sky Sea, which are relatively famous. There are some other small-scale ones, I don't care much about them. Is Wanzhou Mountain the strongest alien universe? Asked the Taoist sage. In the beginning, I don't know now. Wang Qingshan has been sealed for too many years and has no understanding of the current situation. He shook his head and said, the names of the alien universes I just mentioned may have all changed their names. If they want to enter the world-defining universe, is it difficult for us to find them? The sages of Taoism were suddenly worried. That's right, they should have come in long ago, and secretly built the mountain top. Although the universe is a small universe, it is also very huge. There are so many star fields, they just find a star to hide in it, you have no way of knowing. Wang Qingshan said. Just come in when they come in, but if they want to make trouble, they can only send them to death. Chen Shang suddenly said. It's not that easy, those guys are still very strong. Wang Qingshan shook his head and said, and they all rely on Yishan, and I don't know what kind of motives they have. What I can confirm at the moment is that there are indeed several this large alien universes injecting energy into the world-defying universe. How to be sure? Asked the Taoist sage. The Aoshi universe is growing very fast, and the flowing energy is very active. It's like a tidal wave. Wang Qingshan said. According to my understanding of the growth rate of the universe, it is impossible under normal circumstances. Even with so many creations Zuyuan, the growth rate is not so fast. It's also possible that the world-proud universe is swallowing other universes. Chen Shang said with a smile, although the world-proud universe is small, it is not weak. There is no such possibility. Only the big universe has always swallowed the small universe. Wang Qingshan shook his head. What he didn't know was that the Aoshi universe has a double dimension, and there are also a large number of star fields in the double space. The stars in those star fields are all high-quality stars, and it is impossible for Shen Yuanxin to create so many high-quality stars out of thin air. Therefore, Chen Shang suspected that Shen Yuanxin should be devouring the energy of other universes and using it to quietly build a universe of double space. Shen Yuanxin is now in seclusion to practice, and she doesn't know what she is practicing. In short, Chen Shang believes that when Shen Yuanxin leaves the seclusion, her ability will be improved to a higher level, and her control over the world-defying universe will be more abundant. Perhaps, while the Aoshi universe is swallowing other universes, other alien universes are also willing to be swallowed up. Wang Qingshan changed his words again, because after thinking about it, he also felt that the growth of the world-leading universe was too outrageous. At this moment, Chen Shang suddenly felt a faint sense of oppression coming from all around him. What's going on? Chen Shang immediately became vigilant. It's a few small star fields nearby that are approaching quickly. Wang Qingshan's face changed, and he said, impossible. The star field and the star field are so far apart that there is no time for hundreds of millions of years. It will not collide and merge naturally at all. Why is the speed of the star field moving so fast? This is not a space jump, nor is it flying in the universe. There is a force that pushes the huge star field to move at a high speed. This moving speed is very terrifying. Wang Qingshan is sure that there is a star field after flying over, he was even more shocked. Senior, then what's going on? The Taoist sages also know these star fields very well. When he goes to another star field, he can only get there by jumping in space. If he flies directly, he doesn't know how long it will take to fly. I don't know what's going on. I can feel that the speed of the several star fields that are flying over is really terrible. It is impossible for us humans to reach this speed, and such a huge star field can with such a moving speed. What is the situation? Wang Qingshan looked shocked, and then looked at the world-defying divine furnace. Could it be that it has something to do with this? The Taoist sages also looked at the world-defying divine furnace. Young man, what stage is this Tao seed you are practicing now? Is there any reaction? Wang Qingshan asked hurriedly. I'm almost finished, Chen Shang said, but I didn't feel any fluctuations. It seems that this arrogant Taoist species is very strong. Wang Qingshan said in disbelief, it has attracted several star fields to come here. It's really amazing, what is going on? I don't know, when it's fully refined and put into that ancestral source of creation, we'll probably know what's going on. Chen Shang said, the collision between the star field and the star field should not be small. Yes, after you finish training, leave as soon as possible. Wang Qingshan said. Young man, I don't know if your approach is right or not. In short, the path you take in this world-defying universe has never been experienced by the universe. World-defying Dan God Chapter 4847, Ghost Abyss Curse. Chen Zhang's refining of the world-affectionate Tao seed has not yet been fully refined, but other star regions have already approached quickly. The most terrifying thing is that I don't know what happened to those star fields suddenly, and they have such a fast-moving speed. That kind of flying speed can't even be achieved by the Six Paths Divine Mirror. It's so strange. Did those small star fields nearby fly over by themselves? Or are they pushed by some force and have not yet been refined? The more the sages thought about it, the more strange they felt. What I'm most curious about is how such a huge star field has such a fast movement speed. After Wang Qingshan finished speaking, he closed his eyes and continued, I'll go and sense it again to see if I can seriously realize that although the star territory is a behemoth, it appears very small in the universe, and the star territory also has its own wisdom. It must be to seek self-breakthrough in the universe. Chen Shang doesn't have the time to figure out this kind of thing now, because now he has reached a very critical juncture in refining the world-proud Tao seed, and he must concentrate fully on the technique of heaven refinement. At this moment, he finally touched the most profound stage of the technique of heavenly refinement, and he could even push the breakthrough of the technique of heavenly refinement. Chen Shang now has mastered the technique of heaven refinement, it is no longer what he just obtained. With the improvement of Chen Shang over the years, the comparison of the technique of heaven refining has already undergone earth-shaking changes. Today's heavenly refinement technique can be said to be in existence like the power of a law, and it belongs to Chen Zhang's own law completely. When he used it, he didn't have too many rules and regulations, he was completely in a very natural state. Using the technique of alchemy to alchemy has become an instinct of Chen Shang. When encountering any difficulty in alchemy, the technique of alchemy will naturally be touched, and then naturally help Chen Shang to solve the problem. At this moment, Chen Shang and the technique of heavenly refinement seem to have touched a bottleneck, and he needs to use the technique of heavenly refinement to break through, in order to refine the world-defining Tao seed. The last time he encountered a bottleneck of this level, when he was refining the pill of the world-defying universe, he recalled it as if it were yesterday. It seems that the world-defining Taoist species is far more powerful than I thought. I understand that the star field also needs to cultivate Taoism, and it is too difficult for such a huge celestial body to cultivate and become a Taoist species. Chen Shang suddenly understood why several star fields flew over, and those star fields didn't fly over to the world-defying Taoist, but to share the pride of the world. Or in other words, jointly nurture this world-defeating Taoist species, and rely on this world-class Taoist species to become stronger. The various star regions of the world-defying universe are incomparably united, and these star regions have their operating laws. Although the star field where Chen Shang is now is already huge, he still can't bear a world-proud Tao seed, not to mention that this star field consumes a lot of energy for refining the world-proud Tao seed. That's why other star fields fly over. With Chen Zhang's concentration on running the heaven refinement technique, his perception of everything around him became clearer. At this moment, he could see such a huge star field, and it seemed that every inch could be clearly seen by him. The spirit of this star field appeared in his mind. He saw this huge star field, stretched out invisible, energy ropes, these ropes stretched very long, and then connected to several other distant star fields. At this time, those star fields are also approaching quickly with the contraction of the energy rope. It turns out that the star field is burning its own energy to move. At this time, the big guy is moving, and the speed is naturally not comparable to us humans. Chen Shang probably knew why the speed of the star field was moving so fast. It's getting close. Wang Qingshan suddenly shouted. It's so fast, just circle the outside of this star field. Chen Shang also saw that there are a total of 7 spiral star fields surrounding this big star field. Those 7 star fields are protecting us. Chen Shang suddenly spoke, and said solemnly, it seems that these star fields perceive danger. Chen Zhang's judgment was right, he just said so, he felt a layer of enchantment suddenly shrouded. These star fields are protecting him, and it is a world-class way to let him refine successfully. What kind of danger would make star territory run over to protect the law? Wang Qingshan looked shocked, then looked towards the demon soul star territory, and suddenly shouted, it's the star evil territory that is attacking from a distance. Although the Lord of Guiyuan is trapped in the Demon Soul Star region, he does have enough ability to attack from a distance, and he must be able to sense that the world-defying Tao seed is about to be born. Chen Shang said. The Demon Soul Star region, the attack from there should already be on the way. My primordial spirit is out of the body, go to explore. Wang Qingshan immediately cast a spell, released a ray of soul, and flew to the Demon Soul Star field at a very fast speed. Soon, he saw a huge evil black-red air mass. How did that guy, the Lord of Guiyuan, do it? Based on an ancestral source of creation, he gathered a lot of energy, and then controlled the ancestral source of creation to smash it over. Wang Qingshan said in horror. It seems at least quite the energy of 10,000 suns. 10,000 suns? Chen Shang frowned and said, if that's all, then there's nothing to worry about, it can completely stop it. Yes, there are countless sun-level stars in the star field. What's more, there are 7 star fields outside. If you defend with all your strength, the attack of the Lord of Guiyuan will be like scratching. Wang Qingshan thought for a while, suddenly calmed down a lot. That is, no matter how strong Wang Qingshan is, he is only a human being. He is now fighting against 8 star regions. Chen Shang said. Xiao Shen, are you almost done? The Taoist sage asked. What will happen to the world-defining Taoist after refining it? It's almost done. The fact that Chen Shang can speak means that he has broken through the bottleneck, and now the world-defying divine furnace is naturally running along with his heavenly refinement. In the middle of the star field where they are located, the energy gathered at this moment is like hundreds of millions of suns gathered together, and the energy fluctuations generated have caused fluctuations in the surrounding space. And in a very distant position, there is a woman suspended in the air. She followed the energy air mass condensed by the Demon Soul Star field along the way. The appearance of this woman is the same as Guolingxie, one of the puppets. Guolingxie, the Guiyuan heaven extinguishing curse is approaching the target. Do you see the target? The distance is too far. I can only sense that the thing is a great threat. I must destroy it. From the communication talisman in the woman's hand, a deep middle-aged man's voice came. Report to the Emperor, the target of the Guiyuan destroying heaven curse is too huge. In my judgment, this attack is like hitting a stone with an egg. Guolingxie responded. From her title to the Lord of Guiyuan, it has been determined that the Lord of Guiyuan will become the 5th Emperor of Yishan. Do you like this site? Donate here. World-Defying Dan God Chapter 4848, Tianquan Star Field. The Lord of Guiyuan did not expect this to happen at all, so he was very surprised. Impossible. The proud universe is still a very young universe, and it is impossible to condense celestial bodies of this strength. Although the star regions of the proud universe are rich in energy, these energies cannot be used intensively. The Lord of Guiyuan did not believe what Guolingxie said. Emperor, this is what I saw with my own eyes. Guolingxie said. I hope that the Emperor can believe me, and accept that he can analyze and think about this. Otherwise, we will have a huge misjudgment of the world-defying universe. The Lord of Guiyuan was silent for a while before responding. You continue to observe the situation in that star field, I have my own measure. Guolingxie looked solemn and looked at that star field, because she received a memory not long ago, which was left by another Guolingxie, related to Chen Shang. She realized that this star field has now become such a powerful celestial body, and it is very likely that it is related to Chen Shang. She did not tell the Lord of Guiyuan about this, because she thought that the Lord of Guiyuan would not believe it. After all, Chen Shang was only a relatively strong human being in the eyes of the Lord of Guiyuan. After Wang Qingshan's Yuanshan went out of his body to the distance, he gradually saw the situation in the middle of this star field, and was wrapped by a giant energy bubble. The black-red energy that flew from the Demon Soul Star field is close to the center of the star field. Even if there is a very small ancestral source of creation inside that group of energy, it can still gather terrifying energy, like 1,000 the size of the sun. This kind of method is called the Guiyuan Heaven Exterminating Curse by the Lord of Guiyuan. It's the Ghost Abyss Curse. Wang Qingshan suddenly remembered something and shouted in shock. Just as he finished speaking, he saw the Guiyuan Heaven Exterminating mantra colliding with the giant bubble wrap in the center of the star field. The energy of the Guiyuan Heaven Destruction spell is equivalent to 10,000 suns, but compared to the energy bubble film in the center of the star field, it is like a grain of sand falling into a huge lake, which can only cause very weak movements. Seeing this scene, Wang Qingshan and Guolingxie were extremely shocked, because they all knew the horror of the Guiyuan Heaven Destruction Curse. But now it doesn't work at all. The Lord of Guiyuan also sensed it, and his Guiyuan heaven exterminating curse was instantly extinguished, apparently being swallowed up by more terrifying energy. Guolingshe, come back. The Lord of Guiyuan sent a message to Guolingshe and said, stay away from that place, I have to shrink my strength now. Emperor, I am willing to stay here and investigate the situation clearly, so that we can adjust our strategy in the world-defying universe. Guolingshe said. There is no need to adjust, we will not go into the muddy waters of the world-defining universe for the time being. I want to shrink all the power in the world-defining universe, and accelerate the development in this evil star domain. We lost a lot in Wanzhou Mountain before, and the world-defining universe is hidden. The power is more terrifying than Wanzhou Mountain, said the Lord of Guiyuan. Emperor, this, even you are afraid? Guolingshe said in surprise. Yes, I'm afraid. Because there is a certain power in the world-defying universe, it is nurturing Tao seed, said the Lord of Guiyuan. What? Breeding Tao seeds? What kind of Tao seeds? Guolingshe didn't quite understand, and asked, is it an alien Tao seed? If you want to control the ancestral source of creation, you need to inject Tao seeds. In Yishan, Tao seeds are collected by collecting the Tao seeds in the living beings, and then injected into the ancestral source of creation. These Tao seeds are very weak, the Lord of Guiyuan said, and in the arrogant universe, there is a force that is gathering the energy of the star field and refining it into a Tao seed. This level of Tao seed is very terrifying, and even Yishan is very rare. Guolingshe stopped talking, because she has also heard that this is what the Lord of Guiyuan has been pursuing. There are many evil stars in Yishan, which are the products of the failure to refine the universe. Most of the stars in Yishan have masters, so I can only use the stars in other universes, and those in other universes the star field is also weaker and easier to control. The Lord of Guiyuan continued. So, I have to avoid the mysterious and powerful power of the world-defying universe. Yes, Emperor Zun, I'll go back now. Guolingshe looked at the center of the star field for a while, and then flew away. Chen Shang didn't know that another Guolingshe appeared, and he didn't know that the Lord of Guiyuan decided to shrink back. Now he is looking forward to the birth of the world-defining Taoist. When the world-proud divine furnace was refining Tao seeds, it was also getting bigger, and now it has become very huge. It's done. Chen Shang felt the interior of the world-defying divine furnace calm down, and then made the divine mirror of 6 paths smaller. The lid of the godly furnace is open. I saw an incomparably huge snow-white crystal slowly suspended. This is the world-defying Taoist. This is too big. Wang Qingshan exclaimed with a shocked expression. It looks bigger than a creation ancestor. You must know that Chen Shang originally planned to put this Tao seed into the ancestral source of creation, but the world-affectionate Tao seed refined at this time was actually bigger than the ancestral source of creation, which was unexpected by Chen Shang. As soon as the proud world Tao seed came out, the ancestral source of creation that was in the center of the star field actually flew directly to the world-proud Tao seed and entered the interior of the world-proud Tao seed. What's the situation? The Taoist sage shouted. The ancestor of the world is within the Taoist species. The 7 star fields outside are flying in, let's go. Chen Shang turned into a big 6-path mirror, let Wang Qingshan and the Taoist sages come up, and said, the fusion will be carried out next, this star field will be the strongest in the world-defying universe. The star field will definitely give birth to many powerful creatures. The divine mirror of 6 paths has already flown into the distance, and after the 7 large-scale star fields merged into that star field, bursts of strong light erupted again and again. Soon, the largest star field in the Aoshi universe was born, and dozens of star fields flew in one after another. The merger of multiple giant celestial bodies used to take hundreds of millions of years to complete, but now it only takes a few days to complete. Chen Shang and the others witnessed the fusion of dozens of star fields and the whole process of the birth of a super-huge star field, and even they were shocked. Let's call it Tianquan star territory. Chen Shang took out the communication talisman, told his mother Guan Yiyu about the matter here, and asked her to select a team to enter the Tianquan star territory to investigate. Wang Qingshan and the Taoist sages were amazed again and again, all kinds of predictions about what kind of powerful creatures will be born in the Tianquan star territory. And Chen Shang closed his eyes tightly, to sense the depths of his soul. He originally cultivated 4 fates. But now, his familiar fate is gone. However, where there should be a destiny, there is an extra Tianquan star field. From the appearance, it is exactly the same thing as Tianquan star territory. Chen Shang was shocked by this, he just felt horrified, because all these changes were not noticed by him. It's still fate, but it has a form. Chen Shang didn't know what was going on, but what he was sure about was that through this, Tian Jade fate, he could have a wonderful relationship with the Tian Jade star territory. Perception. World-Defying Dan God Chapter 4849, Destiny. As Chen Shang sensed it more deeply, he felt more and more that the change in his fate was very incredible. Although several of his fates have now turned into the appearance of Tianquan Xingyu, this indicates that his fate practice will be different. Cultivation with Tian, right. Chen Shang cultivated his lifestyle before by absorbing energy into his body to cultivate it. And now, by helping the world-defining universe's star field cultivation, he also affects his own cultivation. In the past, when he became stronger, Shen Yuanxin would also become stronger. Conversely, after Shen Yuanxin became stronger, although the universe of Aoshi would become stronger, but Chen Shang did not become stronger. Logically speaking, this shouldn't be the case. After all, he can affect Shen Yuanxin, the universe's core, so the strength of the world-defying universe should be bound to Shen Yuanxin and then bound to him. When creating the heavenly Jade Star territory, Chen Shang gradually understood why Shen Yuanxin didn't make him stronger after he became stronger. That was because he hadn't completely established a deeper connection with the world-defying universe. Today, the birth of Tianquan star territory is equivalent to opening the door for him to establish a close relationship with the world-defying universe. That is to say, if the world-defying universe becomes stronger in the future, he can also become stronger. If the world-proud universe is enhanced by 1,000, he may be able to improve by 1 or 2. Although it is very small, as he continues to be embedded in the world-proud universe, he will gradually synchronize with the world-proud universe. Tianquan Xingyu now has ancestral origin, which Chen Shang calls the ancestral origin of the world. After possessing ancestral origin, one will cultivate a destiny. This is how the ancestral source of creation has its own destiny, and there are various kinds of destiny. However, Chen Shang found that Tianquan star territory seemed to have a fate, and as he penetrated to sense the shocking discovery, the vein of Tianquan star territory's fate was actually connected with him. Have I become the fate of Tianquan star territory? Chen Shang was extremely shocked. What's going on? Brother, it's good for you to become a fate. In this way, the fate of Tianquan starfield will not be threatened. Little Jing's sister giggled. When you create other ancestral origin starfields in the future, it should be those same ones. The fate of the stars. Okay, anyway, I feel like I'm getting stronger. I got stronger so suddenly, there's no process. Chen Shang sat on the divine mirror of 6 paths, squeezed his arms, and found that his body was indeed much stronger. Brother, your body was originally integrated into the bones of the universe. Your destiny to be your ancestor should have long been destined. Sister Xiaojing said with a smile. By the way, brother, the bone, blood, marrow and soul of the universe can create what kind of patron saint, right? If you can really extract it from your own body, the created patron saint can replace you and guard in the heavenly Jade Star territory. Yes, if I can really succeed, I will create an ancestral origin star region in the future, and I will be equipped with a patronus. Chen Shang couldn't help but laugh. My injury is healed. The energy of this heavenly Jade Star territory is really powerful. After I absorb it, it can quickly recover me. Wang Qingshan said. Young man, I'm leaving, and I'm going to find a cultivator from another heaven. We use the messenger to communicate. Wang Qingshan saw the potential of Tianquan star region, and even more saw the potential of Chen Shang. Chen Shang could create many ancestral star regions similar to Tianquan star region in the future. Senior, be careful on the road. Chen Shang nodded. Take care. The Taoist sages also said goodbye to Wang Qingshan. Wang Qingshan flew away from the divine mirror of 6 paths and jumped directly into space. He didn't know how he was going to go to Yishan to find the immortal cultivator. Xiao Shen, are you going to get other ancestral sources of creation next? The Taoist sage asked. There are many ancestral sources of creation that are hidden in other star regions. If the fate inside these ancestral sources runs out, it will cause great harm. Don't worry now. Because Tianquan star territory will help me to be optimistic about other star territories. If there is an abnormality in the ancestral origin of the star territory, Tianquan star territory will immediately take action and pull those star territory over to swallow it up. Chen Shang said with a smile. This is a contest between star territory and star territory. It turns out, this is great. The Taoist sage nodded and smiled. Tianquan Star Territory is the emperor of the star territory of the world-defying universe and can suppress other turbulent star territory. For now, it can be held back. But as more and more external forces enter, it's hard to say. Chen Shang looked in the direction of the Demon Soul Starfield and said, I'm going to use the Heavenly Jade Starfield now. The power of the Demon Soul can completely remove the hidden danger of the Demon Soul Starfield. In the world-defying universe, there must be no star evil realm. This kind of thing in the Xie Xiaoyu is really too evil, and all kinds of brutal creatures will be born inside. Xiao Shen, in the face of Xie domain, I shouldn't be able to help you. The Taoist sage said, I also have to comprehend the cultivation rules of the world-defying universe. I have to become stronger. Senior, you can go to the Heavenly Jade Star region. Chen Shang patted the sages of Taoist creation on the shoulder and said with a smile, I believe that you will definitely gain a lot there. Okay, that's what I meant. The Taoist sage smiled and said, then leave. The sages who created the Tao left the Six Paths Divine Mirror and went to the Emperor Star Field. Chen Shang returned to the Tianquan Star region to pick up Yingguang and Zhang Wei. They were both from Yishan, and he had to bring them when he was going to confront Guiyuan next. Zhang Wei's conversion to life cultivation went very smoothly. He was very satisfied, and he had already worshipped Yingguang as his teacher. On the divine mirror of six paths, Yingguang and Zhang Wei stood chatting and laughing, blowing the ***** to each other. They didn't know where Chen Shang was going to take them. By the way, young master, haven't seen you for a while, haven't you cultivated? Yingguang carefully sensed Sha Chen Zhang's breath, and frowned, you can't do this. You have to cultivate too, and you have to become stronger. Quote, I have too many things, do you know what I have done during this time? Chen Shang shook his head and smiled, and said, I lost a few ancestral sources before, and I also found some inside ancestral sources of creation. Secret. Afterwards, Chen Shang talked about the internal destiny of the ancestral source of creation, and also talked about Wang Qingshan. What, Wang Qingshan, have you seen him? He was sealed inside an ancestral source of creation. Yingguang was shocked. Is this guy famous? Chen Shang asked. Although immortal cultivators are very mysterious in other heavens, everyone knows that there is a very powerful sect among immortal cultivators called Qingshan Sword Sect. This Wang Qingshan is the founder of Qingshan Sword Sect. Yingguang said in surprise. I didn't expect that he is also proud of the universe. Son, you go on. Wang Qingshan once said that the four emperors and the Lord of Guiyuan were fighting for the throne. Chen Shang also told Yingguang about these things. The Lord of Guiyuan is fighting for the throne. Yingguang frowned and shook his head, and said, why is the Lord of Guiyuan? If he wants to compete for the throne, it means that there is someone behind him to help him. Could it be that one of the three ancestors wants to support him? World-Defying Dan God Chapter 4850, Catastrophe. Let's not think about it so much, the most important thing right now is to solve the potential crisis of the world-defying universe. Chen Shang said, that Demon Soul Star region is the trouble in my heart, I must get rid of the Demon Soul Star region as soon as possible. His father Shen Tianyu is still in the Demon Soul Star domain, and the Demon Soul Star domain is also the earliest evil star domain in the world-defying universe, and now there is still the Lord of Guiyuan in it. What worries Chen Shang is that the Lord of Guiyuan created it in it. Many very evil and cruel creatures. The previous Guiyuan vicious beasts and Guiyuan orcs were all from the hands of the Guiyuan master, and there was the kind of cracking scourge, I don't know if there are any. Compared with that group of things, what time-space evil nightmare looks much cuter. Young master, are we going to directly enter the Xie realm now? Zhang Wei asked. If the Lord of Guiyuan is really inside, then we are probably not his opponents. With our current strength, we can't beat that guy. Yingguang said, Wang Qingshan is not his opponent, let alone us. I can't beat him now, and the Demon Soul Star territory can be regarded as a star territory of the world-defying universe. Although it has become a star evil territory now, as long as I go in and find out what's going on, I can take back control of this star territory. It can force them to go back to Yishan. Chen Shang said. Since he made the Tianquan star territory, he has a deeper understanding of the star territory. In his opinion, the reason why the Demon Soul Star territory has become the evil star territory should be related to the ancestral origin of the creation and the Taoism. This is indeed the case. The Lord of Guiyuan has been trying to refine a powerful Dao species similar to the world-class Dao, but it has never been successful. There are also some powerhouses in Yishan who are trying, and after they use the star territory to try and fail, they become the star evil territory. The six-path divine mirror made a space jump and came to the outside of the demon soul star territory. Strange, the demon soul star region has not moved, and its momentum has subsided a lot. Chen Shang looked at the giant star region like a coquettish red flower, and frowned. It's so strange, what the asterisk is going on? Young master, there seems to be something. Ying Kuang pointed at the red light spots in front of him and shouted, could it be the Guiyuan beast? Yes, I found out just now, these guys sensed us just now, but they didn't fly over, they were patrolling outside. Chen Shang said. There are many Guiyuan vicious beasts, and they are huge. Even from a distance, you can see the huge red eyes of the Guiyuan vicious beast. It seems that the Lord of Guiyuan is inside. Ying Kuang said. The Guiyuan fierce beast is so restrained now, why is this? I don't know. Chen Shang shook his head and said. It should not be like this, the demon soul star region gives me the feeling that it is restrained, are they going to do something big? Then let's go in now. Ying Kuang couldn't wait. No, Chen Shang shook his head and said, don't worry now, figure out the situation first. And after we go in, we don't know how long it will take to get out. Before we go in, I have to order things outside. Chen Shang took out the communication talisman, contacted his mother Guan Yiyu, told her the situation of the Demon Soul Star region, and asked her to arrange more people to go to the Heavenly Jade Star region. The current Tianshuan Star territory is full of opportunities and dangers. The Kun and Gan tribes led by Guan Yiyu are currently one of the most powerful forces in the world of the universe, and they must occupy the Tianshuan Star territory. Then, Chen Shang communicated with Grandma Linglong, the great soul of the universe, and asked her to pay more attention to the situation in other universes. If there are other powerful forces approaching the Tianshuan Star territory, they must wake up Shen Yuanxin and must not let Tianxingxing domain fall. After explaining these things, Chen Shang is also ready to enter the Demon Soul Star territory. Are you ready? We're going in this time, I'm afraid it will take a while before we come out. Moreover, we will definitely face a very powerful enemy inside, very dangerous. Chen Shang said, it's too late for you to exit now. Master, let's go, Ying Kuang urged. Let's go. Zhang Wei didn't say much. Not afraid to see them, Chen Shang let Sister Xiaojing fly to the Demon Soul Star territory, but not long after flying, Chen Shang suddenly sensed an extremely terrifying aura looming over him. What is this? Is it an attack from the Demon Soul Starfield? Ying Kuang trembled and said in horror, it seems to be coming at me. I was locked by this momentum. The group of Guiyuan beasts who were patrolling before seemed to have sensed it too, and they all looked towards Ying Kuang. Yes, it is indeed locked on you, could it be the Guiyuan vicious beast? Chen Shang looked at the Guiyuan vicious beast, and shook his head again, it's not theirs, this power seems to come from the Demon Soul Star region. As the Lord of Guiyuan controlling the Demon Soul Starfield to attack me? Ying Kuang said in a low voice, this is making too much of a fuss. This power is terrifying. Zhang Wei was a little trembling with shock. He was not easily frightened, but because the momentum was too strong, as if it could destroy him in an instant. It's the robbery force. Chen Shang frowned and said, it's the power of the Demon Soul Star territory, but it's not the Lord of the Ghost Abyss. It should be the operation of the law of the world-defying universe, controlling the Demon Soul Star territory to lower the robbery force. What? So, I'm going to cross the robbery. Young master, is the way of fate also going to cross the robbery? Ying Kuang's scalp was numb. It should be, although I created the way of fate, but the law of fate cultivation operates on its own in the world-defying universe, and I don't know much about it. Ah Ying, you should be the one who is at the forefront of cultivating the way of fate. Chen Shang said. That is to say, I was the first one who had to survive the calamity because I had cultivated too much fate. Ying Kuang suddenly felt very proud when he heard Chen Shang say this, I am the pioneer. Yes, Zhang Wei and I will dodge first, and you will pass the tribulation yourself. If you can't figure it out, I will find a way to help you block it. Chen Shang said, in the matter of passing the tribulation, you'd better go and accept the test yourself. You have a great advantage. Okay, let's dodge, I'll try it myself. Ying Kuang looked at the invisible and powerful calamity in the sky. Although he was afraid, he also had a fighting spirit and wanted to overcome this terrifying calamity. Chen Shang and Jiang Wei retreated to the distance, and then paid attention to the Guiyuan vicious beast. If those beasts come to make trouble, they will definitely be attacked by robbery. Chen Shang said, "We don't have to worry, if Ah Ying survives the catastrophe, maybe he will be injured, we can go and rescue him in time." Quote, "Sir, the 6 paths and fate cultivation you created are still very vague. I have communicated with many people on Shenken Star before, and they are all at a loss. Everyone is groping. If there is a clear line the method of cultivation, then everyone will have a clear direction." Jiang Wei said. "Indeed, it is very necessary to show everyone the direction of cultivation." Chen Shang nodded. "After Ah Ying crosses the calamity, I will go to study the current cultivation path of the world-defying universe." World-defying Dan God Chapter 4851, Super Calamity. Ying Kuangdu tribulation is very sudden, and the location is not very good. After all, it is close to the Demon Soul Star territory, just outside a Star Evil territory, and there are a large number of Guiyuan beasts nearby. That is because the fate calamity that Ying Kuang faced was too terrifying, and none of those ghostly beasts came over. The area where Ying Kuang is located is now also shrouded in a cloud of energy mist, and various forces from all directions are madly pouring into the area where he is. Chen Shang and Jiang Wei could see their scalps tingling from a distance, because that kind of power was so terrifying, all kinds of violent thunder and lightning bombarded, all kinds of incomparably hot flames to burn, and then there was an extremely cold freezing power. Invisible power and soul-related attacks, as well as all kinds of messes, are all gathered together. "Master, can Master hold back?" Jiang Wei was worried, because he didn't know how long it would last, and there was no news from Ying Kuang. The area where Ying Kuang was located was covered by various tyrannical energies. Chen Shang and Jiang Wei could not detect any situation at all, they could only wait outside. The only certainty is that Ying Kuang is still alive, otherwise the robbery force would have dissipated long ago. It should be able to stop it. After all, he has cultivated many fates. By the way, how many fates does he have now? Chen Shang asked. "I remember he only had 10 before. Has it increased now?" "No." Jiang Wei shook his head and said with a puzzled look, "Young master, I also find it very strange, why would you suddenly want to survive the calamity? Master's cultivation has always remained the same. It's really a bit strange." Chen Shang frowned and said, "Fate cultivation has been around for a while, but since then, this universe is running on its own, and will undergo many changes with the world-defying universe. If Master succeeds in overcoming the calamity, then his strength should be greatly improved, right?" Jiang Wei said with anticipation, "I don't know if I can beat the Lord of Guiyuan." "It shouldn't be beaten. The Lord of Guiyuan has lived for so many years, and it is not so easy to be defeated." Chen Shang shook his head and said, "It seems that there are still many areas in the cultivation of fate that we are not aware of, and we must study it well in the future." "Master, those ghostly beasts seem to be approaching." Jiang Wei was nervous as he watched the red light spots in the distance gradually approaching. "They're here, these guys, are they going to enter the heavenly tribulation domain?" Chen Shang frowned. "I don't know if it will cause the heavenly tribulation to become more violent." Sure enough, the Guiyuan vicious beast seemed to have received an order. It was originally in charge of patrolling, but now it flew over and entered the realm of calamity. Those Guiyuan fierce beasts are very huge, and their speed is very fast, directly rushing into the realm of catastrophe. "We're ready to shoot." Chen Shang called out Suzaku tenderness, and clenched the Qinglong Demon Slayer sword in his hand, ready to fly in at any time by stepping on the divine mirror of 6 paths. However, the dozens of giant and powerful Guiyuan beasts just entered, and there were thick flames and lightning smashing past, shrouded like a shower. After being hit by the violent flames and lightning, the mountain-shaped Guiyuan beast was blasted with pieces of ***** and flew around. After the flames and thunderbolts fell, fires rushed from all directions like a tide, and in the void of the universe, these ferocious beasts were wrapped up and burned. In the blink of an eye, dozens of Guiyuan beasts were directly smashed into pieces by the robbery. Chen Shang and Jiang Wei were horrified when they saw it, and secretly admired Ying Kuang's strength. He was able to resist after being tossed for so long. "Fortunately, no major troubles have been made," Chen Shang said. "This catastrophe is really terrifying, and I don't know how to practice fate, how many times this kind of catastrophe has to be experienced. I have now cultivated 3 fates, and the speed of improvement is not slow." I should also encounter a catastrophe soon. Jiang Wei was somewhat frightened when he saw the tragic state of the group of ghostly beasts. It will definitely last. Chen Shang patted Jiang Wei's shoulder. 2 hours have passed, the robbery power is still unabated, and the power is getting stronger and stronger. Chen Shang and Jiang Wei's faces are very solemn, they are worried that Yingguang will not be able to hold on. Jiang Wei, you are cultivating in the Soul Sea in a different sky, is there a catastrophe or something? Chen Shang asked. No, Jiang Wei sighed, but Soul Sea cultivation will have great limitations. After I cultivated the way of life, I can feel that this path has a promising future, but I didn't expect to need to transcend calamity. But this is normal, after all, this road can quickly break through the limit. If it weren't for Ying, I really didn't know that cultivating fate would face a catastrophe. Chen Shang looked solemnly at the brightly shining calamity field ahead. Whether to cross the robbery. His fate has transformed into the shape of Tianshuan star territory, and I don't know how many fates it is. Chen Shang stared at the area of Ying Guangdu tribulation, and suddenly felt a faint aura fluctuation behind them. There were strong people behind them, and they were still quietly approaching after hiding. He immediately urged the divine mirror of 6 paths to release a shield to protect them. At this time, a beautiful woman in a red dress flew over and hovered in front of Chen Shang and Jiang Wei. Seeing this woman, Chen Shang was surprised. Guoling She. Why is it you again? You are Chen Shang. HMPH. You killed me twice. After seeing Chen Shang, Guoling She snorted coldly, don't try to kill me a 3rd time. Chen Shang met another Guoling She puppet, this time it was stronger than the previous one, and Jiang Wei had not fully adapted to his current state after he changed his life cultivation style. With Jiang Wei's strength, he couldn't beat the Guoling She in front of him at all. And in Guoling Shui's memory, Chen Zhang's own strength is very limited, the main strength is Chen Zhang's various artifacts, and the Ying Kuang beside Chen Shang. However, Guoling She is not afraid of Chen Shang now, which shows that she also has a powerful divine weapon in her hand, and thinks that she can restrain Chen Shang. Guoling She, I will kill as many as you come here. No matter how strong a puppet like you is, there is still a limit. Chen Shang laughed. What are you doing here? Did you kill our Guiyuan beast? Guoling She asked coldly. They are courting death by themselves. Chen Shang spread his hands and said, since you are the best puppet created by the Lord of Guiyuan, don't you know what happened there? If you directed those idiots to go there, then it's your responsibility to die. It's obviously you who set a trap to trap Guiyuan beasts. Guoling She said angrily. You are really a pitiful puppet. Chen Shang smiled and said, eldest sister, there is a calamity ahead. And it's a very strong catastrophe, didn't those beasts run over to die? How can I be so big? Energy set up this kind of trap. If you had this kind of ability, you and your master would have been killed by me long ago. World Defying Dan God Chapter 4852, Spirit of the Stars. Guoling She was shocked when she heard that it was a calamity or something, because usually the cultivation base reached a certain limit, which would lead to such a powerful calamity. In this way, Guoling She has to re-evaluate the strength of Chen Zhang's side, there is actually a powerhouse of this level. Guoling She already had a certain understanding of Chen Zhang's strength from the memory left by the previous puppets, but seeing this level of catastrophe now shows that Chen Shang has a strong presence here. Because she didn't know what kind of powerhouse she was, Guoling She was very cautious, and even though she knew that Chen Shang and Jiang Wei were not her opponents, she still didn't dare to shoot. In addition, she also knew that Chen Zhang's divine weapon was very strong, and the 2 Guoling She puppets were planted on it. Guoling She has also tried to cultivate fate, and she is sure that fate is better than Soul Sea. It is also possible for her to change to fate. Why are you here to survive the calamity? Guoling She asked again. It's nothing, I just want to see how stupid you are, will you jump directly into the heavenly tribulation domain and die? Chen Shang giggled. I didn't expect you guys to be really stupid. This order should be given by you, right? You. Guoling She shouted angrily, wanting to take action, but he was worried, wait for me. Guoling She left immediately after speaking, she was also worried that Chen Shang deliberately angered her, and then let her fall into the trap. After Guoling She slipped away, Chen Shang curled his lips and said, she seems to be afraid of me. The current Chen Shang also had concerns, so he did not take action against Guoling She. Because this is outside the Demon Soul Star territory, and Ying Kuang is transcending the calamity again, If there is a fight here, Guoling Shui's reinforcements will come, it will harm the Ying Kuang who is transcending the calamity. So after Guoling Shui ran away, Chen Shang was quite surprised, he didn't expect that he could scare away Guoling Shui. How long will Ah Ying's catastrophe last? He is really amazing, he can last that long. Chen Shang also sighed deeply. He found that he still underestimated Ying Kuang's strength. He had sensed this level of catastrophe before, and was very worried that Ying Kuang would not be able to survive it. I wonder if heavenly tribulation was so strong when I crossed the robbery. Zhang Wei said with a wry smile. You can get through it too. Chen Shang smiled and said, when a Ying comes out, he will have experience in this area. Zhang Wei was worried that Ying Kuang would not be able to hold on. He has now worshipped Ying Kuang as his teacher, and he didn't want Ying Kuang to suddenly disappear. Don't worry, if Ah Ying can hold on until now, it means there is no problem, otherwise he would have been killed by heavenly tribulation. Chen Shang patted Zhang Wei's shoulder a few times. The Ying Kuangdu tribulation lasted for several days, and finally calmed down. The heavenly tribulation domain gradually dissipated and calmed down. Chen Shang immediately controlled the divine mirror of 6 paths to fly over. Ying Kuang had already passed out, his charred body was cracked in many places, and it looked like he was seriously injured, and his whole body seemed to be dying. Ah Ying, how are you? Chen Shang hurriedly asked. Master, are you all right? Seeing Ying Kuang's tragic situation, Zhang Wei was also frightened, full of fear for the future catastrophe. I'm not dead. Ying Kuang suddenly woke up and said in a low voice, come on. It's dangerous here. Are we still entering the Demon Soul Star territory? Chen Shang asked. I don't know, leave here for the time being and wait until I get better. Ying Kuang's low voice was a little hurried, young master, go. Okay, Chen Shang immediately controlled the divine mirror of 6 paths to fly away quickly. He didn't know what happened to Ying Kuang when he crossed the tribulation, why he made him run fast, but he trusted Ying Kuang very much. The divine mirror of 6 paths did not continue to fly to the Demon Soul Star territory, and stayed away from the star territory of demon souls for the time being. Besides, Chen Shang was also using the power of the life orb of the divine mirror of 6 paths to help Ying Kuang heal his wounds. Chen Shang also didn't know why Ying Kuang suddenly let him run away. Obviously, what Ying Kuang experienced when he was transcending the calamity, he sensed the existence of the crisis. Ying Kuang gradually recovered and became much more energetic. Ah Ying, why did you keep us away from the Demon Soul Star territory? Chen Shang asked. Sir, when I was transcending the tribulation, I could feel that there was a powerful spiritual body inside the Demon Soul Star field, which was controlling the Demon Soul Star field and wanted to intervene in the calamity. Ying Kuang said solemnly, that's why I let it go. You leave quickly, the Demon Soul Star field is like a powerful soul, it's terrifying. Oh, did the robbery change that day because of the intervention of this thing? Chen Shang asked. It's not. The power of the robbery is the law of the world-defying universe, and the power drawn from the star field is gathered together. Ying Kuang said. The Demon Soul Star field belongs to the world-defying universe to a certain extent. When you were robbing, could you sense this? Chen Shang was very surprised. When I was transcending the calamity, I suddenly realized a lot of things. Cultivating the fate. Every time I cultivate 9, I need to transcend the calamity. I have been suppressing it before, and I don't know what happened recently, but suddenly I can't suppress it, so that's what led to the calamity. Ying Kuang said. Ah, did you know that the calamity was coming? Chen Shang also had some understanding of the calamity caused by cultivating fate. I don't know, I just have a very uneasy feeling. I always thought it was a kind of discomfort left after the soul sea was transformed into a life cultivation style, so I forcibly suppressed it. Ying Kuang said. I didn't expect this to happen. It's a catastrophe, and it's so terrifying. So it is. Chen Shang sighed. It seems that the way of fate, after it runs on its own, has undergone great changes with the world-defying universe. Young master, I am also very vague about the way of fate. I still need more guidance from you, I have all kinds of confusion now. Ying Kuang said with a bitter expression, although the way of fate can continue to break through the limit, but there are many obstacles, I don't know anything about it, I'm afraid that if I take a wrong step, it will be forever. Rest assured, I will continue to comprehend and study the way of fate. Chen Shang rolled his eyes and said, since the Demon Soul Star field is still controlled by the laws of the world-defying universe, then we still have to go in. The demon must be dispelled. The hidden danger of Soul Star territory, the Lord of Ghost Abysses inside. I can only give it a try. Ying Kuang nodded and said, I will go in after I'm injured. Although I am confused about the way of cultivating fate, but after I survived the catastrophe, I have become stronger in all aspects. A lot. That's good. Chen Shang nodded, then looked at the Demon Soul Star region. Chen Shang was surprised that this star field could have a powerful spiritual body. He remembered the Tianshuan star field he created, and he should also be conscious, but he has not communicated with him for the time being. Master, another Guoling Shay appeared before. I wonder if you can beat her now. Zhang Wei said. World Defying Dan God Chapter 4853, Destiny Primordial Spirit. Guoling Shay, how many Guoling Shays are there in the puppet Guiyuan? Zhang Wei also knew that the puppets named Guoling Shay were very strong, and they were all difficult to deal with. Now that he has experienced the fate of the calamity, he has gained a lot of improvement, and he also wants to know how far he is from the powerhouses in Yishan. Let's enter the Demon Soul Star territory now. Chen Shang said. It will be safer to fly in. If you jump in from space, it will cause a lot of noise. The space inside the Demon Soul Star territory must have already been controlled. When they entered the Demon Soul Star territory before, they couldn't make space jumps, and they could only rely on that kind of space-time evil nightmare to make the space weak. Okay, Ying Kuang nodded and said, if you meet Guoling Shay again, just leave it to me, I should be able to beat her now. It may take several days to fly into the Demon Soul Star field. During this time, I will open the time field. Chen Shang said, Ying, now you need to familiarize yourself with the power after the catastrophe. Zhang Wei, you need to further consolidate your cultivation. And I am going to comprehend the way of life now. The Divine Mirror of the Six Paths opens the time domain. In the few days of flying into the Demon Soul Star territory, several years will pass inside the Divine Mirror of the Six Paths, which is enough for Chen Shang and the others to improve their cultivation. The Divine Mirror of Six Paths slowly flew towards the Demon Soul Star domain, and at the same time opened the time domain. Chen Shang started to study the way of fate, to find out the specific way of cultivation in the world-defying universe, and give everyone a clear direction, otherwise everyone will be groping randomly. In the blink of an eye, 3 years have passed in the Six Paths Divine Mirror. The Divine Mirror of Six Paths only flew for 3 days outside, and now it has come to the edge of the Demon Soul Star territory, stopped, and did not continue to fly in. Brother, it was blocked. The Demon Soul Star field actually closed itself. Sister Xiaojing said, it's strange, is the Demon Soul Starfield going to shrink back now? Close the time domain. Chen Shang now has almost studied the cultivation method of the world-defying universe. Ying Kuang's injury has completely recovered, and he has also entered a space inside the Six Paths Divine Mirror, where he fought and practiced, and the improvement was huge. Zhang Wei also accompanied him to practice. Ying Kuang and Zhang Wei are still in that space inside the Six Paths Divine Mirror. Brother, it's difficult to enter this Demon Soul Star field, which is getting more and more evil. Sister Xiaojing said, such a huge star field can have this level of enchantment, which shows that they have a very deep control over this star field. I'll find a way. Chen Shang knew that Sister Xiaojing must have tried various methods, but she couldn't get in, indicating that there was really no way out. He took out the communication talisman and passed on his own cultivation way to the world-defying universe, and passed it on to Guan Yiyu and Taoist sages. This is crucial, because it can improve the overall strength of the Quantian Kun Xingyu, otherwise no one will be able to fight against the forces from Yishan and various Yishan universes. Chen Shang realized that whether it is the Six Paths cultivation law or the Fate cultivation law, there are huge changes from when he created it before. That is to say, the world-defying universe itself has also transformed these two cultivation ways. Today, the cultivation of the world-defying universe is divided into 2 stages. The first stage is 6 destiny, and the second stage is 9 destiny. The 6 paths of destiny have 3 levels. The first level, Tongtian, birth Dao seed, Tongtian Dao. The main thing is to cultivate and condense the Dao seed, and the one who cultivates is the heavenly Dao seed. Chen Shang was also very shocked when he discovered this before. Because in the current world-defeating universe, the power of law allows all beings in the universe to cultivate the heavenly seed by themselves. In the past, it was very rare to have a heavenly Dao seed. And now, everyone can have it. The second level, the way of heaven, cultivate the seed of heaven and step into the way of heaven. In this stage, it is mainly to cultivate through the heavenly Tao seed, to cultivate the heavenly Tao to the culmination, to develop and strengthen one's own talent, and at the same time to cultivate the Tao. The third layer, the soul of life. Heavenly Tao and Fu Tao are unified, and talent generates soul Tao. At this stage, the main practice is Fate Tao and Soul Tao. Although there are only 3 stages, several of the 6 paths have been covered. Yao Tao and Pil Tao, it depends on the situation to cultivate. Heavenly Tao, Fu Tao, Destiny Tao, and Fu Tao, these are the 4 compulsory ways. Because these 4 paths are the basis for condensing fate. At the end of this stage of the 6 paths of destiny, the main purpose is to cultivate the soul of life, and then to condense the character of life through the soul of life. At this stage of the 9 heavens fate form, what Chen Shang knows so far is that he needs to condense the fate form. A total of 9981 fates need to be gathered. This is what the 9 heavens soul realm needs to cultivate. Every time the 9 fates are condensed, there will be a heavenly robbery, also known as the 9-9 fate robbery. Especially after experiencing the first catastrophe, it is very difficult to cultivate fate. As for what is after the 9 heavens destiny realm, Chen Shang still doesn't know. In other words, he needs to reach it himself first, and he needs to create the realm after the 9 destiny realm. What Chen Shang is depressed about now is that the way of fate that he has cultivated is completely different from that of the world-defying universe. Because the few fates he cultivated merged into the appearance of Tianquan star territory, and he still hasn't figured out what happened. In fact, what Chen Shang realized was basically the same as what he had conceived before, but it could give Ying Kuang and Zhang Wei a clear direction and let them know that they could keep cultivating. Zhang Wei and Ying Kuang had come out of the 6 paths divine mirror, and they were listening to Chen Zhang's description of the 6 paths destiny realm and the 9 destiny realm. That is to say, the 9 heavens fate grid is all about cultivating the fate grid, right? Zhang Wei said, it's easy to do this way, and cultivating the fate grid is not very complicated. I understand the process, it just takes time. Fate is robbed. There is one more point, that is, the 9 fates are a combination. Chen Shang looked at Ying Kuang and said, Ying, how is your current situation? I have 10 fates, 9 of them are gathered together, and the other one cannot be integrated. I have been wondering before, so it is. Ying Kuang finished speaking, frowned again, and said, but those 9 fates the grids are not completely gathered together, and there seems to be some gap between them, and I don't know what's going on. I feel like I can't use the power of the fate grid. The 9 fates are a combination, and they can be transformed into the soul of the soul. However, if you want to cultivate the soul of the soul, you need to absorb a very powerful soul. Chen Shang sighed. It seems that the soul the way of cultivation is more difficult than I imagined. What the hell? You have to absorb a powerful fate. Where can you get a more powerful fate? Ying Kuang said in surprise. There is a kind of destiny that comes from the inside of the ancestral source of creation, and that is a very powerful destiny. Chen Shang said, you need to absorb the destiny of the ancestors in order to cultivate the spirit of destiny. World-Defying Dan God Chapter 4854, Re-entry Ghost. Ying Kuang was at a loss. When he was cultivating fate, he didn't expect such a difficult obstacle. Now that I hear it, it is necessary to absorb that ancestral source of fate in order to unearth the power within the fate, and to cultivate that fateful spirit. Master, if you don't absorb the ancestral fate, can you continue to practice? How can something like the ancestral fate be so easy to get? Ying Kuang sighed, shook his head, and said, the fate the Tao is better than the Tao of the soul sea, but this road is not so easy. According to what I've learned before, if you don't cultivate the soul of your destiny, you won't be able to continue cultivating your destiny. Chen Shang said, Ying, you originally had to transcend the calamity when you cultivated the 9th destiny, but you forcibly suppressed the catastrophe, so your catastrophe will be stronger. It turns out that, fortunately, I didn't continue to cultivate the fate, otherwise the calamity would be stronger. I'm afraid I won't be able to survive. Ying Kuang smiled bitterly. I can't get the ancestral fate, isn't that the cultivation level? Will it stay stagnant? How is this good? There will be a way. Chen Shang said. Actually, the ancestral source is not so difficult to figure out. As far as I know, there are a large number of ancestral sources in the universe like Wanzhou Mountain. Next, there will be ancestral fates one after another. Master, I remember you said before that there are several other large universes like Wanzhou Mountain, right? Zhang Wei's eyes lit up and said, these alien universes can enter the world-defying universe, then we go to their universe too. Of course, maybe we don't need to go to their universe. If the universe is attractive enough, those universes may be merged into it. Chen Shang said, this is also what I am worried about. There is no universe in the universe now. It's as controllable as I imagined it to be. So, if those other universes are willing to be swallowed by the world-defying universe, then the world-defying universe will not refuse to come. Ying Kuang frowned. This will be very troublesome. We can only count one step at a time. Ah Ying, you should be the only person who has experienced fate calamity so far. Your fate cultivation should be the highest. Chen Shang said. As long as our world-proud cosmos has for someone like you who has always been ahead in life, then we are not afraid of other universes. As long as it is merged into the world-defining universe, it is also necessary to cultivate the way of fate. Even Yishan has already started to study the way of fate, because they are sure that the way of fate is better than the way of soul sea. Better. Yishan is not only studying the way of life in the world-defining universe, but even wants to control the creatures of the world-defining universe, not letting the souls of the world-defining universe practice the way of life and personality, worrying that the creatures of the world-defining universe will be stronger than Yishan in the near future. Let's go, let's enter the Demon Soul Star territory. Chen Shang said. This Demon Soul Star territory has a very strong barrier, and my 6 Paths Divine Mirror can't get in, so I have to use the old method. Before, Sister Xiaojing just tried her usual method to break through the barrier, but it didn't work out, and the old method that Chen Shang said was to gather enough powerful energy and then forcibly tear a hole in the barrier. Chen Shang made the divine mirror of 6 paths smaller, then held it in his hand, controlled the mirror to levitate, and the mirror emitted a strong light, hitting the enchantment of the Demon Soul Star region. The strong light of the divine mirror of 6 paths was very hot, and Chen Shang didn't dare to hold it in his hand. Ying Kuang and Zhang Wei stood beside them, and they could feel the terrifying heat, which made them feel very uncomfortable. It felt as if their soul and internal organs were being burned by fire. It took quite a few hours for the divine mirror of 6 paths to tear open a palm-sized opening, and then Chen Shang took Ying Kuang and Zhang Wei into the divine mirror of 6 paths. The 6 paths divine mirror, which became smaller, also flew in from that hole in an instant, and then successfully entered the Demon Soul Star territory. After entering the Demon Soul Star territory, Chen Shang and the others immediately came out of the 6 paths divine mirror. To their shock, after passing through the barrier, there were even more stars in it. They were outside before, and although they could also see the Demon Soul Star field densely populated with stars, after entering, there were even more densely packed giant stars. It seems that this Demon Soul Star field is very important to the Lord of Guiyuan. They have moved so many stars from somewhere during this period of time. Ying Kuang looked at the countless starlights emitting strong light. The energy of each star was very huge, and there were many more, all in pieces. It just so happens that my 6 paths divine mirror needs to be replenished. Chen Shang said. These extra stars are not from the world-defying universe, and I don't know where the Lord of Guiyuan got them from. This is what Sister Xiaojing told Chen Shang, because she has mastered the world-defying universe map, and the world-defying universe map is composed of a large number of stars to form constellations, and then borrows the power of the world-defying universe. So Sister Xiaojing can perceive that many of the stars in this place cannot be placed in the world-proud cosmos map, but they can be used as energy. The operation of the divine mirror of 6 paths also requires a lot of energy, and now the stars are put into the divine mirror of the 6 paths as an energy source. After the divine mirror of 6 paths became larger, they flew with Chen Shang and the others to the depths of the Demon Soul Star region. Still can't do space jumping, Chen Shang said. This is really a ghost place. After he came in, he tried to contact Shen Tianyu, but was unsuccessful. After the 6 paths divine mirror flew for a while, there was a sudden wave of space fluctuations. While the space fluctuates, there is also a murderous aura coming out. It's Guo Lingshe. Chen Shang was very familiar with this aura. It's you again, Guo Lingshe said coldly. You guys are a little bit talented, you can actually pass through the barrier of Emperor Zun. Emperor. Chen Shang looked at Guo Lingshe in red, and said in surprise, the emperor you said is the Lord of Guiyuan. Has he become an emperor? He will definitely become Emperor Zun. After Guo Lingshe finished speaking, a long sword appeared in his hand, and then threw it at Chen Shang and the others. She did not rush over, but controlled the weapons to attack Chen Shang and the 3 of them. Ying, go meet her. Chen Shang shouted, he thought that the current Ying Kuang was not much weaker than that Guolingshay puppet. Yes, Ying Kuang immediately flew out of the Six Paths Divine Mirror without using weapons. Ying Kuang, who flew out, stretched out his hand to grab the lightning-like long sword. The long sword was caught, and there was a burst of violent lightning in an instant. Ying Kuang shouted and had to let go. Guolingshay controlled the long sword and flew back. It looks familiar. Could it be that Wang Qingshan and these immortal cultivators have flying sword skills? Chen Shang had seen Wang Qingshan use this kind of flying sword before, and it was still very strong. Ying Kuang also took out a long knife and flew towards Guolingshay. Guolingshay always kept a distance from Ying Kuang, and then controlled Feijian to attack Ying Kuang, not to let Ying Kuang approach. Flying swords fight, I'm afraid of being besieged. Chen Shang remembered Wang Qingshan, who was beaten by a group of Guiyuan orcs and lost his dignity. Do you like this site? Donate here. World Defying Dan God Chapter 4855, Alien Magic. The flying sword technique used by Guolingshay is not only very clever, but also powerful, so that Ying Kuang always needs to do his best to resist the flying sword that stabs at him. However, Ying Kuang couldn't get close to Guolingshay. He could only do enough damage to Guolingshay if he got close. Although he could blast a powerful energy towards him from a distance, Guolingshay could always avoid it because he was far away. Ying, if you can't beat me, I'll go with Zhang Wei. Chen Shang secretly said, do you need our help now? I don't need it for the time being, I feel like I can beat her. Ying Kuang said, I'll get to know her bottom first and see how strong she is. Guolingshay is not the same as before. She plays very well with her flying sword. Okay. Chen Shang also knew that Ying Kuang would take this opportunity to test how his fate cultivation was, and at the same time he could see how much his strength had improved after going through the Fate Cry. Ying Kuang's current attack does seem to be very ordinary. It is to condense a mass of energy at will, and then blast it out, without using any method at all. Chen Shang couldn't see if Ying Kuang was really testing Guolingshay. He was worried that Ying Kuang would be brave and wanted to defeat Guolingshay himself, so he wouldn't let them take action. Zhang Wei and Chen Shang can only watch from a distance now. Ying Kuang and Guolingshay are flying around in the void of the universe, and the speed is very fast. Chen Shang and Zhang Wei's eyes can't catch up. Guolingshay has always kept a distance from Ying Kuang. It can be seen that as soon as Ying Kuang enters a dangerous distance, she immediately retreats with all her strength to prevent Ying Kuang from approaching. Not being able to fight in close quarters is also Guolingshay's weakness. If the opponent can block Feijian from approaching her, it means that her Feijian is not very useful. Guolingshay's flying swordsmanship is very good, but because he is too specialized in flying swordsmanship, he is slightly lacking in other aspects. Ah Ying, can you do it? Chen Shang saw Ying Kuang in the distance, with a bloodstain drawn by the flying sword on his cheek, and asked urgently through voice transmission. I'm testing her. Ying Kuang replied simply, young master, don't worry about me. Don't take action. Chen Shang couldn't bear it any longer. He wanted to help, but after hearing Ying Kuang say this, he could only continue to wait and see. Ying, quick battle, Chen Shang suddenly said through voice transmission. I sense the aura of Guiyuan beasts in the distance, as well as some Guiyuan orcs. Don't forget, this Demon Soul Star region is connected to Guiyuan, and they can all jump in space here, and their support is very fast. I see. Ying Kuang also knew that if it was delayed, Guolingshui's helpers would come soon, and they would have to run away. It is rare to catch a single Guolingshay. If she can kill her, it will be very profitable. HMPH, what about cultivating the fate? What is the fate? It looks like this. Guolingshay sneered. Although she said so, she herself knew that the way of fate was boundless, and she was deliberately sarcastic at Ying Kuang at this time. Really? Then let you see how powerful the way of fate is. After Ying Kuang finished speaking, his palms suddenly turned red. It's like the feeling of an iron hand being burned red, and it is also exuding a very hot breath. This scorching heat is very terrifying. Even Chen Shang and Zhang Wei are amazed by it. From a distance, it can be seen that the space around Ying Kuang's palms is slightly distorted. This terrifying scorching heat can actually make the air fluctuate. Guolingshay didn't know how many times she controlled the flying sword to slash Ying Kuang's neck. When she saw Ying Kuang standing motionless in the air, she just thought it was a good opportunity, and then controlled the flying sword again to slash Ying Kuang. Just let you see how powerful the strongest fate cultivator in the world-defying universe is. Ying Kuang roared, and the entire head turned out to be like a red-hot iron head. The scorching heat was even more terrifying, and his hair was even burning with flames. When Guoling Shui's flying sword flew past, Ying Kuang's head moved quickly, then opened his mouth and bit Guoling Shui's flying sword. You must know that this flying sword is not simple. Once caught, it will break free with a violent force. But now, Ying Kuang's sword god, who bit the flying sword, made the flying sword unable to move. Boom! Feijian knocked, but it didn't break free from Ying Kuang's mouth. Just when Guoling Shui was shocked, Ying Kuang, biting the flying sword, flew towards Guoling Shui. Compared with speed, Guoling Shui is still very confident, because Ying Kuang has never been able to approach her before. And this time, she saw Ying Kuang flying over. The speed was the same as before, and it didn't speed up much. She didn't take it seriously, and continued to control the flying sword to resist, to break free from Ying Kuang's mouth. Just when Guoling Shui was distracted to rescue Feijian, Ying Kuang's iron hands, which seemed to be burning red, suddenly formed seals, as if they were about to cast some spell. What is this? Chen Shang was surprised, and then asked Zhang Wei next to him. It's the divine technique. Zhang Wei whispered. The evil god of the alien usually just didn't expect that after he changed his lifestyle, Master could still use it. He should have improved it. Certainly. Ying Kuang bit the flying sword and drank it in a deep voice. Guoling Shui, who was flying fast, was suddenly unable to move. Chen Shang saw a little bit of the doorway. Ying Kuang bit Guoling Shui's flying sword, and then he could use the flying sword to immobilize Guoling Shui. After Guoling Shui was restrained, her face was ugly, and she let out a sharp roar. There were bursts of terrifying aura coming from all directions. It was the Guiyuan vicious beast and the Guiyuan orc. Ying Kuang had already flashed over, holding Guoling Shui's flying sword, slashed at Guoling Shui, and cut off her head directly. Also at this moment, the flying sword in Ying Kuang's hand suddenly exploded. Ying Kuang wanted to destroy Guoling Shui's body, but because of this sudden explosion, he was directly blown away. Although Guoling Shui's head was separated, he did not die, and he was able to control his head to be attached to his body. Just as Guoling Shui's head and body were just docked, a huge mirror covered it and landed on Guoling Shui's head, and then a beam of light shot out from the mirror and penetrated down. Guoling Shui's head was instantly pierced, and his soul was immediately destroyed. Chen Shang suddenly made his move. It seemed that he was only attacking with the Six Paths Divine Mirror, but in fact that beam of light was Vermilion Bird's tenderness. Suzaku tenderness is ejected through the powerful energy condensed by the Six Paths Divine Mirror, which can easily penetrate all kinds of defenses. Suzaku's tender silk entered Guoling Shui's body, and then branched and scattered. A large number of silk threads emerged in Guoling Shui's body instantly, causing this body to be scrapped in an instant. Let's go. Chen Shang took back Vermilion Bird's tenderness, jumped onto the Six Paths Divine Mirror, and left with Ying Kuang and Zhang Wei. Ying Kuang and Zhang Wei looked at Chen Shang with shocked expressions, and they actually destroyed Guoling Shui's puppet body in an instant. You must know that Ying Kuang couldn't be completely destroyed before, and he was also knocked out by Guoling Shui's flying sword. If it wasn't for Chen Zhang's sudden attack, Guoling Shui would definitely run away. World Defying Dan God Chapter 4856, Chaos Star Evil Realm. Ying Kuang was very curious as to why Chen Zhang's divine mirror of six paths suddenly became so powerful, because when he and Chen Shang entered the Demon Soul Star territory before, the divine mirror of six paths did not show such power. He didn't ask much, he only knew that Chen Shang had done a lot of things during this period of time. The reason why the divine mirror of six paths now has this kind of power is mainly because of its previous participation in refining the Proud World Dao Seed. When refining the World Proud Dao Seed, the Six Paths Divine Mirror absorbed a lot of energy inside the star field, and then injected it into the World Proud Divine Furnace. This process is also equivalent to cultivating, so it has been greatly improved. The flying speed of the Six Paths Divine Mirror is also very fast. The Guiyuan orcs and Guiyuan fierce beasts that are chasing behind are also flying in the air. Although they are very fast, they cannot catch up with the Six Paths Divine Mirror. That kind of thing can jump in space. We have to be careful. Ying Kuang said. We all killed Guoling Shui, no one is directing this group of things, so logically they shouldn't be chasing us. Perhaps it is because Guoling Shui is dead that they are chasing and killing us even more. Guoling Shui's status is much higher than them, but they were killed. It's not easy for them to go back to work, and they may be punished. Chen Shang said with a smile. Both the Guiyuan vicious beasts and the Guiyuan orcs are very strong, and there are a lot of them, so Chen Shang didn't dare to fight them easily. What's more, this place is still the territory of Guiyuan. The ghost knows whether there will be any terrible things in the process of battle. Young master, where are we going now? Ying Kuang asked. The space in this ghost place is limited, it is very difficult for us to go anywhere and it takes a long time to fly. Chen Shang looked at the direction they were flying, and said, we're going over there. There is a huge ancestral source of creation in the Demon Soul Star region, we're going to see that place. We want to destroy the stars in the Demon Soul Star region. With the characteristics of the evil domain, you need to kill the ancestral source of creation. Chen Shang didn't know what was going on. After he entered the Demon Soul Star territory this time, he quickly sensed the existence of the ancestral origin of creation. He thought it was his strange destiny that gave him this special ability. That destiny is now like Tianshuan Star territory, and it must have a very special ability. This and that place may be the lair of the Lord of Guiyuan. If we go directly, wouldn't we have to face the Lord of Guiyuan directly? Zhang Wei said in surprise. Don't be afraid, we can sneak in. We don't need to face the Lord of Guiyuan, as long as we secretly destroy the ancestral source of creation, we will leave immediately without conflict with the Lord of Guiyuan. Chen Shang said. Also yes, I already have a way to space jump here. Sister Xiaojing told Chen Shang just now that her space Yuanju fluctuated, and then she could perceive the power of space law here. The Demon Soul Star territory is in a very strange state, which is equivalent to being between the world-defying universe and Yishan, so the space is also very complicated. Chen Shang had tried it before, and there was no way to break through the space restrictions here, but with the improvement of the Six Paths Divine Mirror, he could also spy on the power of the space law of another heaven. In addition, as the Lord of Guiyuan came to the Demon Soul Star territory, he also began to modify the space rules here. Guo Lingshui's ability to perform space jumps means that the space rules here have the conditions for space jumps. After half an hour of tossing and tossing, Sister Xiaojing finally broke through the space limitation of the Demon Soul Star region, and Chen Shang immediately contacted Shen Tianyu. Dad, are you still in the Demon Soul Star territory? Chen Shang could sense Shen Tianyu's communication talisman, indicating that Shen Tianyu's communication talisman was still in the Demon Soul Star territory. But he couldn't be sure that Shen Tianyu was still there. If he left the messenger, then even if he could lock the position of the messenger and jump over, he wouldn't be able to see Shen Tianyu. After a while, Shen Tianyu finally responded. Xiaoshang, have you entered the Demon Soul Star territory again? Shen Tianyu's surprised voice came from the communication talisman. Yeah, are you still in the Demon Soul Star field, are you still there? Chen Shang asked. We were about to leave Monster Soul Star and a group of time cultivators approached us and said they could take us away, but the place we were going was not the world-defying universe. Shen Tianyu said. It's time monk again. The Demon Soul Girl country where Shen Junjun was before was also taken away by the time cultivator. Chen Shang still doesn't know where they went, and he can't contact them. Did the time cultivator say where to take you? Chen Shang asked. I didn't say it, but they will keep us safe. Shen Tianyu said. Xiaoshang, you clearly left before, why did you run in again? By the way, is your mother okay? It's okay. Chen Shang briefly talked about the situation outside, and also told Shen Tianyu that Guan Yiyu was leading the Chenkin clan now. She's fine, I didn't expect her to be involved in such a big event. Shen Tianyu sighed. Xiaoshang, you should still be able to go out. Of course I can go out. The current Demon Soul Star region is different from the previous one, it's better to get in and out. Chen Shang said, and I have other important things to do when I come in this time. Then go and do your business. Don't worry about me, Shen Tianyu said, take care of yourself. It's not the first time we parted ways. We will definitely meet again. Dad, take care of yourself. Take good care of Shen Ningyi and say hello to this little sister for me. Chen Shang said. Okay. She knows that you are very strong, and she is practicing hard with your example. Shen Tianyu smiled happily. Take care of yourself. Take care. After Chen Shang disconnected from his father, he became even more curious about the time cultivator. Why did he take the Demon Soul Girl country and the Shen family away? The Divine Mirror of Six Paths has broken the space barrier of the Demon Soul Star field, and then immediately space jump. After they jumped for a distance, the Guiyuan beasts and the Guiyuan orcs were able to catch up with the fluctuations they left behind. I have to say that this group of things is still very strong, especially in the cross-space tracking, which made Chen Shang they have a headache. Young master, they are chasing very tightly. If this goes on, we won't be able to go to the ancestral source of creation at the center," said Ying Kuang. "If that's the case, then we'll kill these guys," Chen Shang said. "Ah, there are more than 100 of them, and I'm afraid it will be difficult to beat them," Ying Kuang said. "There are too many, there are only 3 of us. It's not to confront them head-on," Chen Shang said with a smile. "There are so many stars here that you can completely use the stars here." The divine mirror of 6 paths flew towards a huge bright star at this time, and when it got close, you could feel that the star was very hot. When Chen Shang approached the star, he suddenly felt a very strong spatial fluctuation. "Brother, what space collided with the demon soul star field? This space fluctuation is very familiar, it seems to be from Wanzhou Mountain." Sister Xiaojing was surprised. Wanzhou Mountain seems to open the space channel through a very violent method. Connect to the demon soul star territory. World Defying Dan God Chapter 4857, Dark Ancestry. Sister Mirror, the current space in the demon soul star region seems to be very unstable. Can the 6 paths divine mirror perform long-distance space jumps? Chen Shang asked. "We must go to the location of the ancestral origin of creation as soon as possible." Sister Xiaojing has already seen through the space law power here. Chen Shang was able to contact Shen Tianyu who was far away before, and there is no problem in making a long-distance space jump. It can be, but we are being chased by that group of things now. If we don't kill them, we will be stopped by them. Sister Xiaojing said. The location of the ancestral source of creation is still very far away from us. It takes time to prepare for the space jump. Ying, away, we are going to kill those ghostly beasts and ghostly beasts. Chen Shang said, "Are you ready?" "Ready," Ying Kuang said. "Young master, I can take action at any time," Zhang Wei said, but his heart was still very empty, because his current strength is still very weak. Of course Chen Shang knew that Zhang Wei's current strength was not enough, but he didn't want Zhang Wei and Ying Kuang to die, he would do it later. The divine mirror of 6 paths stopped suddenly. After Chen Shang and the 3 of them jumped out, the divine mirror of 6 paths suddenly became bigger and flew towards the group of Guiyuan beasts and Guiyuan ferocious beasts. In the blink of an eye, the map of the world-defining mountains and rivers appeared, pulling all the ghost monsters in. The world-defining mountains and rivers map looks like countless mountains and rivers that suddenly appeared in the universe, but it is also real. After the Guiyuan orcs and the Guiyuan fierce beasts were framed, they seemed to fall into a huge land of mountains and rivers, and they were scattered by the world-defining mountains and rivers map. This is the very powerful point of Ao Shishan River map. It not only traps people, but also releases a very solid space force. Sister Xiaojing can use the power of space Yuanju to make the space inside the world-defining mountain and river map to the extreme. Brother, you have to fight quickly. These things are very strong. If I persist for too long, it will consume a lot of money. Sister Xiaojing said. After all, she is controlling the world-defying mountains and rivers map and the 6 paths divine mirror, she is also very clear where are your limits. I know. Chen Shang and the others set up a group of 3, rushing in and looking for the lonely Guiyuan beast, killing the huge Guiyuan beast first, because these giant beasts are very powerful. If they work hard, it is possible to rush out of the world-defining mountains and rivers map of. If it was a group of ghostly beasts, Chen Shang and the others would not be able to defeat them at all. But now they just need to win one by one, the pressure on them will be much less. Especially with the cooperation of Chen Zhang's vermilion bird tenderness, Ying Kuang and Zhang Wei attacking the Guiyuan beast in the past will be much easier. The single Guiyuan vicious beast is not particularly strong, let alone in the world-defying mountains and rivers map. Part of its speed and strength are suppressed by the world-defining mountains and rivers map, so Chen Shang and the others can solve it very quickly. These guys are very good for alchemy, and their armor and bones are all good materials for refining. Moreover, these things have a fate and should be able to use their fate to alchemy, which can make us improve quickly. After killing a Guiyuan beast, Chen Shang was very happy and couldn't wait to hunt down the next Guiyuan beast. After Chen Shang and the others killed one, Sister Xiaojing immediately teleported them to the other Guiyuan vicious beast and let them fight quickly. In the blink of an eye, half an hour has passed. Chen Shang and the others have killed over 100 Guiyuan vicious beasts and Guiyuan orcs in total. These ghostly beasts are still relatively strong, and more than a dozen of them actually broke through the world-defining mountains and rivers and slipped away. After Chen Shang and the others came out, they immediately put away the map of the world-defining mountains and rivers. At this time, he could also feel that Xiaojing's younger sister's state was not very good, indicating that it was indeed a lot of consumption just now. Those things are too powerful, and they are also very flexible. There is no way to use the Six Paths Divine Mirror to destroy them at one time, so this method can only be used. Wan Zhoushan and Guiyuan have a grudge. Now Wan Zhoushan breaks through the space and opens a space passage to come in. Chen Shang said, maybe they will have a conflict, and we can take advantage of the chaos to destroy the ancestral source of creation here. The Divine Mirror of Six Paths is preparing, condensing power to make a space jump, and they are going to the vicinity of the ancestral source of creation. Sister Xiaojing has said that if you want to make a space jump, you need time to prepare. Chen Shang did not expect that it would take more than an hour to prepare. If you don't kill those ghost monsters, you really can't move. Go. Sister Xiaojing controlled the Six Paths Divine Mirror, made a space jump, and came near the ancestral source of creation in the blink of an eye. She can also perceive the existence of the ancestral source of creation. This is after Chen Shang created the Tianquan star territory, the ability she has acquired. Chen Shang originally thought that it would appear in a very bright area, because the ancestral origin of creation he had encountered before was all inside a giant sun. However, where they appeared now, it was pitch black, with no light at all. Chen Shang even doubted that this place was still inside the Demon Soul Star territory. Over there, Chen Shang looked in one direction. Although it was pitch dark, he could feel the faint waves of energy coming out. Brother, this ancestral origin is not simple. Sister Xiaojing said. This kind of feeling is like the center of Tianquan star field, it has a strong power. The center of Tianquan star territory is now a proud ancestor, and the momentum is very strong. Could it be that this ancestral source of creation was refined by someone? Chen Shang frowned and said, there should be someone in Yishan who did the same way I created the heavenly jade star territory. Could it be that this is what the master of Guiyuan did? This guy is amazing. Chen Shang could feel that there was a very strong Dao, but that Dao was very irritable and seemed to have a big flaw. He guessed that it was because someone forcibly stuffed such a Dao seed into the ancestral source of creation, so the star evil territory was formed. A flawed Dao seed that enters the ancestral source of creation will definitely distort the ancestral source of creation, and then the power generated will also be distorted, which will give birth to all kinds of brutal creatures. It seems that they didn't deliberately create the evil star realm. This should be a failure. Chen Shang closed his eyes and sensed the ancestral source of creation here. Because his fate has been transformed into the star field of Tianquan, he can now have a deep perception of the star field. Master, what are we going to do next? Zhang Wei asked, because the area where they were located was too dark, and the starlight in the distance seemed to be swallowed up. In addition, it is very cold here, and Zhang Wei can't stand the weird cold. I want to look again. Chen Shang looked at the location of the ancestral source of creation ahead, shook his head, pointed to the front and said, the ancestral source of creation is there, but we can't see anything. World Defying Dan God Chapter 4858, Darkest Power. Chen Shang could feel that the ancestral origin of creation was ahead, but Ying Kuang and Zhang Wei couldn't feel it at all. This is the most terrifying thing about the ancestral source of creation. Young master, if it is a huge ancestral source of creation, it shouldn't be so quiet. How is this possible? Ying Kuang said. He also has a certain understanding of the ancestral source of creation. Yeah, let's talk about it. There should be guys from Guiyuan guarding this ancestral source of creation. But it's pitch black and there's nothing here. Zhang Wei also said. I thought before that the Lord of Guiyuan was very likely to be here, but now it seems. The Lord of Guiyuan dare not stay here for a long time. He will even keep his subordinates away from this ancestral source of creation. Chen Shang said solemnly, because it has been here for too long, it will be distorted. Ah, what happens after being twisted? Become a ghostly beast. Ying Kuang was a little worried and asked, then will we be twisted here? If it's a short time, it shouldn't be. Chen Shang looked around again and said, look, we have gradually fallen into darkness, and just now, we could still see the starlight in the distance, but now it's all dark. This made Ying Kuang and Zhang Wei suddenly tense up. You must know that there are many more stars in the Demon Soul starfield, and the light inside is very strong, but now they are looking in all directions, it is endless darkness, and no light can be seen. So, this ancestral source of creation is a very ferocious thing. Ying Kuang said solemnly. No wonder the Lord of Guiyuan is not here. He should be afraid too. At this time, Ying Kuang can already gradually feel an inexplicable chill spread all over his body, making his body a little stiff. Before Zhang Wei finished speaking, his open mouth couldn't close, as if his whole body was frozen in an instant, unable to move, his eyes were full of fear, and he was still struggling. You guys go first. Chen Xiang was surprised to see Zhang Wei's body gradually turning black, and immediately moved Ying Kuang and Zhang Wei into the Six Paths Divine Mirror. If it continues, both of them will be swallowed by the darkness. After entering the Divine Mirror of Six Paths, Zhang Wei became very scary, and the flesh and blood on his body had rotted away. Ying Kuang is better, but his skin is cracked. If he continues, he will also be rotted most of his body like Zhang Wei. Chen Xiang is fine, so is the Divine Mirror of Six Paths. Chen Xiang casually took out a weapon, and saw that the weapon was quickly corrupted. You must know that the weapon he got from Guoling She was not an ordinary sword. However, in the face of such dark power, this weapon still can't stop. Brother, why are we okay? Sister Xiaojing asked. The dark power here is terrifying, but we are okay. I don't know why. Is it because Ying Kuang and Zhang Wei are from Yishan, so they will be recruited? Chen Xiang said, and took out another tree. This tree belonged to the universe, and after it was released, it quickly rotted away. It seems that the things of the world-defying universe will also be corroded. Chen Xiang took a deep breath and said, this thing is too terrifying. If this dark power spreads out, the consequences can be imagined. The Lord of Guiyuan has used this dark power to create a lot of evil things. Chen Xiang snorted and said angrily, this bastard, bringing such dangerous things to the world-defying universe. It's too vicious. Not only the Demon Soul Star territory, but also the Star territory where the world-defying temple and the 100 Flowers temple were located almost became the evil Star territory. Fortunately, Chen Xiang and Shen Yuanxin worked together to suppress it. But these two star fields are still in a sealed state, which shows how terrible the dark power inside is. Brother, maybe it's because you're the one with the destiny of the world-defying universe, so you're fine. And I'm following you, so I won't get caught. Sister Xiaojing said. I guess the ancestral source of creation devoured the domain spirit of the star field, but the domain spirit has not been completely swallowed. The domain spirit should be able to perceive your cosmic destiny, so controlling the dark power avoids you. Sister Xiaojing is a spiritual body herself, she also knows that the spiritual body recognizes the owner very well. After all, Chen Xiang is the one who created the world-defying universe. The domain spirit of the star field can definitely perceive Chen Zhang's destiny, so she has this guess. It's very tricky. Chen Xiang looked forward, frowning, and said, I thought that the ancestral source of creation in the center of this star field is similar to the one in the Tianxuan star field, but I didn't expect it to be like this. Chen Xiang wanted to break open the ancestral source of creation here and normalize the Demon Soul star field, but now he doesn't know how to start. Brother, we need to take risks. Only by getting closer to the past can we know more about the origin of the creation. Sister Xiaojing said. Maybe even the master of the Ghost Abyss doesn't know the origin of this creation now. After all, they don't dare to approach. Okay, let's go and have a look. Chen Xiang said. The 6 divine mirrors flew forward, and the speed was not very fast. Although it is a great danger, there is nothing to do now. If you don't get rid of the hidden danger of the Demon Soul star field, the universe will face more crises in the future. After getting rid of the hidden dangers of the Demon Soul star field, there will be no worries in fighting against other alien universes. Brother, the group of time cultivators who took the Shen family away may know the situation here, so they will take the Shen family away at this time. Sister Xiaojing said. They are time cultivators, can they see the future? So, there will be a major event in the Demon Soul Star region, causing the entire star region to be affected. Chen Xiang frowned. Could it be caused by us? After you contacted Dad, he must have told the cultivator time about your visit. The cultivator time didn't take you away, maybe it was just to keep you here for something big. Sister Xiaojing said. Maybe. When Chen Xiang was talking, he felt a very hot force coming, and it just scorched for a while, and immediately became cold and stinging. There is a situation. Sister Xiaojing immediately stopped the 6 Paths Divine Mirror, and she also felt that something was wrong here. Ahead, a dark red mist suddenly appeared and was flying over. If you looked closely, it was a person, wrapped in the red mist, flying towards him. What is this? When Chen Shang was shocked, he immediately took out Suzaku Tenderness Silk, Qinglong Demon Slayer Sword and Baihu Jingyu Fan. Someone who can run to the depths of the dark ancestral source, and can fly out at this speed, must be very strong. Come here, Sister Xiaojing shouted, and then immediately strengthened the protective cover of the Six Paths Mirror. World-Defying Dan God Chapter 4859, Angry Sister. Chen Shang and Sister Xiaojing are both very worried now, because the strength of people who can appear in such a place is unimaginable. Chen Shang was able to come here because he is a person of the world-defying cosmos, and the power emitted by the Dark Ancestor was avoided by the power of fate, so he would be fine. Without the fate of the world-defying universe, Chen Shang would not be able to stop the evil power of the Dark Ancestor. Even the existence of the Lord of Guiyuan, who could compete for the throne of the Emperor, would not dare to approach the Dark Ancestor easily. However, now there is a person flying out from the Dark Ancestral origin. Chen Shang thinks about it with extreme fear, and becomes more and more afraid of the person who flew over. If there is a fight, he doesn't know if he can beat it. The group of red light really flew towards him. After approaching, the red light suddenly dissipated, and a beautiful woman in red dress appeared. This woman's face was very familiar. It was the Guoling She that Chen Shang had met before. But she was a little different from that Guoling She. The face is still the same face, but it is more beautiful than the previous Guoling She. Chen Shang can't tell where the beauty is. He feels that he looks a little gentle, and at the same time, it is much more gorgeous. Her temperament was more charming than the Guoling She that Chen Shang had seen before, especially her extravagance and arrogance, which was far from what the previous Guoling Shis could possess. Also, this sudden appearance of Guoling She is taller than what Chen Shang has seen before, with a pair of long white legs that pop out from the red dress with slits and fluttering from time to time, always making people want to take a few more glances. Although meeting Guoling She now is somewhat different from before, Chen Shang did not take it lightly. He was still very vigilant, and treated the woman in front of him as Guoling She. Why is this haunted woman again? Chen Shang scolded in his heart. How many of these things have the Lord of Guiyuan refined? And there are different versions. The current one is still so strong. Quote, in the blink of an eye, the woman in the red dress landed on Chen Zhang's Six Paths Divine Mirror. Even though the Divine Mirror of Six Paths had a strong protective shield, she still easily passed through it and stood in front of Chen Shang. Chen Shang was a little stunned. When he saw this woman just now, he was still quite far away, but in the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of him. The most terrifying thing is that this woman is also holding a long white stick. One end of the stick is on Chen Zhang's forehead, as if it can stab Chen Zhang's head at any time. Who are you, why are you here, and how did you get in? The woman asked directly 3 times. Chen Shang was a little surprised. Guoling She has many puppets, but the memories are all the same. The woman in front of him is very similar to Guoling She, isn't she Guoling She? Or is she the prototype of Guoling She? Chen Shang and Ying Kuang had guessed before that Guoling Shui's prototype was probably Yaozu, one of the 3 Yishan ancestors. And now it seems that Guoling Shui's original form should not be Yaozu, but someone else. Chen Shang was even more curious. Why did the Lord of Guiyuan use this woman as a prototype to create so many Guoling She? The Guoling She puppet created by the Lord of Guiyuan is similar to the woman in front of him, but it is far inferior to the woman in front of him in every way. Speak. The woman in the red dress had a cold voice and snorted. I'm Chen Shang. I strayed into this place and was trying to get out. Chen Shang waved his hands quickly and said, I don't even know where this place is. As soon as I came in, I was trapped here. Really? The woman in the red dress was a little unconvinced. Really? Chen Shang nodded quickly and said, girl, do you know what this place is? The boy just came here, and he only knows that this place is very dangerous, and there is a terrifying corrosive force. Are you from outside? The woman in the red dress asked again. Chen Shang nodded in response. The woman in the red dress put away the white long stick, then stared at Chen Zhang's eyes, and continued to ask, what's the situation outside now? Outside, Chen Shang scratched his head and said, how can I say this? There are too many situations outside. As you said, what kind of pattern is Yishan now? Who is the new 4th emperor? The woman in the red dress asked. Chen Shang was secretly surprised. Could this woman really be Yaozu? Otherwise, why do you care so much about the new Emperor Zun? Isn't there a new emperor? The woman in the red dress asked again. This. I don't even know about Emperor Venerable, this is not Yishan, this is a different universe that is being invaded and destroyed by Yishan. Chen Shang quickly spread his hands and said, I'm just a victim, where I am. The star domain name is called the Demon Soul Star Domain, and it was turned into a Xie domain by a guy from a different sky, that guy seems to be from a ghostly abyss in a different sky. Chen Zhang's words surprised the woman in the red dress. The Lord of Guiyuan, this beast, the woman in the red skirt scolded. What the **** is he doing? Was he exiled? Why did he leave Yishan? Girl, are you very familiar with him? Chen Shang asked. He also pretended not to know about Yishan before, just to let this woman relax her vigilance, otherwise the other party would think too much. I'm his senior sister. He trapped me here. It's been many years. The woman in the red dress looked around and said, my name is Guoling She, and I'm the eldest apprentice of Yaozu of Yathionmen. Ah, your name is Guoling She too. Chen Shang was shocked. In fact, he was also shocked by the identity of the master of Guiyuan and the woman in front of him. They were all apprentices of Yaozu. What, have you heard of my name? My name is rarely known in Yishan, let alone this small Yishan universe. Guoling She was also a little surprised and asked hastily. I have met several puppets before, Chen Shang briefly talked about the few Guoling She puppets he met. After the main lord heard it, he immediately became furious, and a monstrous murderous aura gushed out, causing Chen Shang to tremble, worried that his six paths divine mirror would be destroyed by her. Miss Guo, your real person is much prettier than those fakes. Chen Shang quickly comforted him and said with a smile, it's great to see you, otherwise I'll always be harassed by those fakes, they are all very strong, so am I too. Can't beat them. The few Guoling She puppets Chen Shang had met had already been killed by him, and he did not tell Guoling She in front of him. Damn the Lord of Guiyuan, he must be trying to pull my banner everywhere to do bad things and ruin my reputation, you bastard. Guoling She scolded angrily, when I go out, I must make his life worse than death. Even if master stops me, I will torture him to death. Chen Shang could feel Guoling Shui's hatred. Miss Guo, how are you going to get out? Chen Shang asked in a low voice, this place is quite evil. How long have you been trapped here? Chen Shang guessed that Guoling She should have been sealed in the ancestral source of creation a long time ago, and the previous Wang Qingshan was also sealed in the ancestral source of creation. I don't remember very well, it should be hundreds of millions of years. It's too boring, I can only sleep and practice. I woke up to find you when I sensed someone appeared. After Guoling She saw Chen Shang, although she was fierce on the surface, she was very happy inside. After she was sure that Chen Shang was not the Lord of Ghost Abyss, she also felt that Chen Shang had an indescribable beauty and pleasing to the eye. World-Defying Dan God Chapter 4860, Ancient Prophecy. Miss Guo has been trapped here for so many years. Chen Shang sighed. It must be hard for such a long time. It's okay. Although Guoling She said that, she wanted to cry, because it was really very difficult, and she had the idea of breaking herself. Chen Shang thought about it carefully, and felt more and more that the master of Guiyuan was very clever. Guoling She is an important figure in Yathionmen, and she must also hold a powerful force. After she was sealed, the Lord of Guiyuan made many puppets just like her, and maybe indirectly controlled the forces behind her. Guoling She has been sealed here for so many years, even she doesn't remember much, and she has never met a single person for so many years. In it, she just wandered around all day, and fell asleep for a while when she was tired. Chen Shang himself had been sealed for 100,000 years, it was very difficult, not to mention Guoling She was sealed for hundreds of millions of years, how could he endure this? It's no wonder that Guoling She would put down her air when she sees someone who can talk now. If it was before, she wouldn't bother to say a word. Miss Guo, you have been here for a long time, you should have tried to rush out, right? Why didn't you succeed? Your strength is so strong, you should be able to get out. Chen Shang is also a little panicked now. Guoling She is the big apprentice who has been bidden. She has been sealed in the realm of the Dark Ancestors for so many years, and she has not been able to get out. What kind of power is this to seal her here? I have tried many times. Every time I wake up from a deep sleep, I will try to break through the seal, and every time I will be bruised and bruised. Guoling She shook her head, her icy voice was slightly sad, and she sighed softly, I have been through so many years. The strength has been getting stronger, but this ghost place is also getting stronger. This is a dark ancestral source. It is the ancestral source of creation. Where did the power of this ancestral source come from? Chen Shang asked. He only knows that there is a mother source in Yishan, and it has a deep connection with these ancestral sources of creation. There are 3 huge ancestral sources of creation in Yishan, which are called mother sources. There is one for each of the 3 ancestors in Yishan. Originally, these 3 mother sources were normal, but after Tianlianji, they began to change. It's gone, Guo Lingshe said. After that, a large number of ancestral sources of creation emerged one after another, and these ancestral sources of creation are all deeply related to the 3 mother sources. Does the energy of this dark ancestral source all come from the mother source? Chen Shang asked. Yes, the source of energy of the mother source is very complex. The source of energy can gather the energy of other heavens, and if other small universes have the ancestral source of creation, the source of energy can also gather energy through the ancestral source of creation. Guo Lingshe said. As for whether the mother source can obtain energy from other places, I don't know. Miss Guo, you have been sealed for so many years, doesn't your master know about it? Chen Shang was very puzzled and asked. It is logical that she should know. Although Master founded Yathyanmen, I was in charge of Yathyanmen before. And Master's whereabouts are erratic, and he rarely interferes in Yathyanmen's affairs. Guo Lingshe sighed. Master is very particular about going with the flow. She may know a lot things, but she just doesn't intervene. She thinks that if she intervenes, it will destroy the nature of heaven. Outrageous. Chen Shang curled his lips and said, you are her apprentice, and the master of the ghost abyss is doing bad things everywhere. That asterisk is destroying the nature of heaven everywhere. This world-defying universe, he has made such a dark ancestor. Come in, the ghost knows what will become in the future. World-defying universe. Guo Lingshui's face suddenly became serious, and he asked, this is world-defying universe. Yeah, what's wrong? Chen Shang was also very surprised when he saw Guo Lingshui's reaction. Guo Lingshe has been sealed here for many years. It is reasonable to say that she doesn't know about the universe of the world, but her current reaction seems to have heard of the universe of the world, and it seems that the universe of the world is very important to her. That is to say, Guo Lingshe should have heard about the Aoshi universe before being sealed. That was hundreds of millions of years ago. Master once said that in many years, a world-defying universe will be born. And this world-defining universe will pose a great threat to Yishan. If the world-defining universe is not destroyed, Yishan may be destroyed by the world-defining universe. Destruction. Guo Lingshe frowned and said, I didn't take this to heart at the time, because I thought it was impossible. I didn't expect that after so many years, a world-defying universe finally appeared. Chen Shang immediately thought of the Lord of Guiyuan. This guy might have heard Yaozu say it, so the Lord of Guiyuan destroyed the world-defying universe to save Yishan. Does the Lord of Guiyuan know? Chen Shang asked. I know. Guo Lingshe nodded, then fell into thought. This dark ancestor was created by that guy, right? Chen Shang said. He created this kind of thing many years ago. Now it's going to be used to destroy the world-defying universe. I don't know, but my master said that the destruction of Yishan is not a bad thing. My master did not say that the universe must be destroyed. She just said that everything should be natural. Guo Lingshe said. However, Guiyuan, what the Lord is thinking, I don't know. I have to find a way to get out. Chen Shang looked at the dark ancestors in front and said, Miss Guo, can you get close to the dark ancestors? I once wanted to go in, but I didn't succeed. Guo Lingshe shook his head and said, this dark ancestor's self-defense ability is very strong, especially during this period. The speed of improvement is very obvious. If I can't keep up with this dark ancestor, the speed of improvement, I will die here sooner or later. Take me, Chen Shang said. You are familiar with this place, take me to a location closest to the dark ancestor. Chen Shang has not yet figured out the situation of this dark ancestral source, but he thinks that he can use the power of the heavenly Jade Star region. The reason why Guo Lingshe was sealed for many years and could not rush out was mainly because her personal strength was very limited. Shen Yuanxin is now slumbering and cultivating, otherwise he can also use the power of the world-defying universe to get out of trouble. Fortunately, he created a heavenly Jade Star territory before, and his own destiny has also turned into a heavenly Jade Star territory, which allows him to perceive the existence of the heavenly Jade Star territory, which means that he can use the power of the heavenly Jade Star territory. Okay, but you have to be careful, it's very dangerous to approach the Dark Ancestor. I'm afraid you won't be able to stop it. Guo Lingshe was also standing on the Six Paths Divine Mirror at this time. She was also very curious about this artifact. Over there, Guo Lingshe said. Fly over first. If there is a dark storm, I will tell you to stop. Dark storms are very dangerous. If you get involved, even me will be seriously injured. The ancestral origin of darkness is too evil, we must not allow this kind of thing to continue to grow in the world-defying universe. Chen Shang said in a low voice.